Thank you for riding on Nerd Thug Radio. You must be 42 inches in order to ride this ride. Please fasten your safety belts. Pull your chest restraints down until they lock. Keep hands and feet inside the roller coaster at all times. And once again, thank you for choosing Nerd Thug Radio.
Hello, Conroe. Welcome to Nerd Thug Radio.
Nerd Thug Radio.
Hey. On LoneStar.com. IRLoneStar.com.
First show on Lone Star Community Radio.
Boom.
Boom. Moving on up in the world.
That's right. And very soon we're going to be on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, sister stations.
July 18th, the week of July 18th.
Whoop, whoop.
I am the Captain Joey Savage here.
I'm Corey DLG. With us as always, the engineering Nico.
Yeah, guys, so don't forget, check out our Facebook page if you want to interact with us. That's facebook.com/NerdThugRadio. We follow us on Twitter at NerdThugRadio.
I'm also Corey DLG on Twitter.
I am on Instagram. I am the unofficial Nerd Thug Radio Instagram. It's joey.savage15. Give me a follow. And thanks for having us here.
That's right.
Show number 10. This is our 10th episode.
First on the new network.
First on the new network, but the 10th episode of Nerd Thug Radio.
That's right.
And now we're on the home of Conroe's Community Radio. This is like a dream come true for me.
This is. You're a Conroe kid.
I grew up here. I'm so excited.
So we're now in the heart of Montgomery.
We are in the heart of Montgomery, the birthplace of the Texas flag.
Is this true?
Montgomery, Texas is the birthplace of the Texas flag.
Here's the thing. I'm going to let you fact check yourself this Conroe episode.
No, it's true.
But if you start spouting off some false Conroe things...
Don't you know that the Americas was started, in fact, in Montgomery?
If you start trying to say that the Bushes visit Conroe on Tuesdays...
No, they do that in College Station.
Okay, alright, now that's probably true, actually.
But for those of you who are tuning in to Nerd Thug Radio for the first time, thank you for listening. Corey DLG, why don't you give them a rundown of what we kind of do on the show?
So essentially we do, well, whatever we want.
We talk nerdy.
That's right, we do. It's two fat guys and their little brother talking nerdy to you. That's how we pitch it. That's what it is. What we do is we talk about the things that we find interesting, which is TV, movies, comic books,
tabletop gaming, sci-fi,
and anything
time travel.
Anything that you have thought, that's cool. I wish someone would tell me what that was. We got you.
That's right. If you want to know what the cool nerd things are happening, this is the show you want to listen to.
That's right. You're at the water cooler. You're out of stuff to say. Everyone's like, God, Bob's pretty boring.
I wonder what happened on Game of Thrones this week.
Right.
Boom. There you go, Bob. We just saved your life.
That's right. Bob, from cut to promoted.
Boom. I want to tie up, for those of you who didn't listen to episode 9, because you didn't even know who Nerd Thug Radio was.
We forgive you.
We forgive you this time. So we got pretty intense on some wrestling and some Cody Rhodes action.
And UFC.
And some UFC stuff. So DLG, this week I found out they announced Cody Rhodes' first post-WWE match.
Okay.
So he can't compete until sometime in August.
Hang on, let me guess. It's the Spring High Locker Room.
Nope, it is not.
Okay, wait. It's the VA Town Hall of Downtown Woodlands.
Nope, no, it's not.
Okay,
all right. So it's going to be August 27th.
Okay.
He's going to be wrestling for Northeast Wrestling Promotion. It's in New York, and the title of the show is Wrestling Under the Stars. His first match will be against none other than the real American Kurt Angle. It's a pretty big first match for a guy coming out of WWE.
Wow, that's why you leave the WWE. So you can wrestle WWE stars who are washed up.
Kurt Angle, former WWE champion, former TNA champion. So, hey, I tweeted...
Hang on. Former Olympic gold medalist.
Former Olympic gold medalist. So I tweeted...
I think you start with that one.
No, we start with WWE champion. We start with WWE champion. Yeah, name me 3 Olympic gold medalists in wrestling, Nico.
I have absolutely no idea.
DLG, name me 3 WWE heavyweight champions.
Oh, that's way easier. Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold,
Boom. See,
Undertaker,
you lead
Kane,
with the
Mankind.
WWE.
You literally just...
You lead with the WWE. Chris Jericho. I mean, the list goes on and on.
I guess
Everyone except Cody Rhodes. Oh!
That's true, but, I'm excited to see this match. It's going to be fun. But here, on Twitter...
Okay,
on
tell
Twitter,
me the story.
I tweeted out how excited I was for this match, and I tagged Cody Rhodes and the real Kurt Angle, and the real Kurt Angle liked my tweet.
That's awesome.
So I said, hey, listen to Nerd Thug Radio this week, as I'm going to talk my excitement.
You couldn't tell me that before I called
No,
up?
No,
Okay.
I couldn't. So, Kurt, if you're listening, DLG, he's ready to get the Olympic slam. Throw him in the ankle lock. Whatever you got to do, make him a believer. This match is going to be good.
See that now.
I mean, when you go to indie matches, you're gonna get the older guys.
No, you are.
You're getting a fresh young Cody Rhodes against a former two-time, two promotion champion and Olympic gold medalist. So for the town or the city of New York, this is going to be big.
No, it's not.
Well, actually,
no.
Actually, it's for the state of New York. It's in some small town, but for that region, like indie wrestling up in the Northeast is so different than what we're used to down here. Like it's a big deal up there. So this is a big match for them up there. If you think 20 years ago, ECW was very small and it was locally, but people in New York take wrestling serious.
No, they do. However,
nowhere else will you see Cody Rhodes take on Kurt Angle, but this match right here.
Well, yeah, nowhere else because neither one of them are under contract anywhere bigger.
That's right.
That's like saying
they're on the indie circuit.
That's like saying nowhere but my garage sale will you see my old black and white TV for sale.
I mean, it's like we're the equivalent to them. We're a small time podcast doing big things here in Conroe, Texas.
We are. However,
they're big time wrestlers doing small time things in New York.
However, for us, this was a step up. For both of them, this is a step down.
I don't know if it is for Kurt Angle.
That's like if we started on live TV and now we're doing this.
Right.
So now we're on 1 o'clock infomercials.
Right. If we had been
by the magic blender.
If we had been slated to replace Mike and Mike in the morning, and we somehow blew that, and now we're on Lone Star, that people would be fairly saying,
I just don't think you appreciate wrestling like I do.
No, listen.
Listen.
I'm willing to say that it's a big name that's still out there that he drew for this match.
Let me ask you this question. If Booker T's promotion put up Cody Rhodes was going to be in Houston, Texas, taking on Kurt Angle, would you not want to go watch it? Would you not be excited about it?
I don't know. I really don't.
I would be for real. I got excited like 3 years ago when Booker T was like, Jay Lethal's coming to Houston. I was like, holy crap, Jay Lethal? This is cool.
But we didn't go.
No, we didn't.
We didn't go.
I think I had tickets and something happened. Oh,
so here's the thing.
Wife. Yep, pregnant wife.
If the tickets were $20,
I'm pumped.
I'm probably going. If the tickets are $40, I'm probably saying, who's on the card?
Yeah, true.
What other events are happening? That's my thing. Cody Rhodes left the most important wrestling organization. And yes, this is a good landing spot for a first match, but there's two problems. A, Kurt Angle is about 10 years past where he was physically as a prime.
He's still in his prime.
Wrestler. No,
he can do it.
No, as a matter of fact, WWE...
His neck might be stiff, but he's good to go.
As a matter of fact, he doesn't even have a neck anymore last I saw on TV.
He's like...
Yeah,
you can't see me, but like...
It goes from shoulders to ears.
One of the cool things about being on irlonestar.com is once we go to FM, we'll be live streaming the show. And you can see me.
Yes.
You can see me doing my Kurt Angle impression here.
Right, it's shoulders to ears.
Only you guys can see. Shoulders to ears.
Here's the thing, is Kurt Angle was actually in talks with the WWE
he was
as recently as 6 months ago.
Yep, very true.
But there were two very big issues. He wanted a steady but major appearance style contract where he would show up once or twice a month.
I think he wanted like the Undertaker type deal on a lesser extent.
Right, he wanted to show up for the pay-per-views and do some promotion for the pay-per-views.
The Brock Lesnar.
The Brock Lesnar deal. Whereas WWE was looking for people to help fill in their short-term roster because of the injuries we've been discussing.
Yep.
When he balked, and basically there were two issues. He didn't think physically he would hold up, and they weren't sure that his personal issues weren't going to get the better of him.
Oh, that's his big issue. I don't know. I've never seen Kurt Angle wrestle in live. So to me, I mean, I like Cody Rhodes. To me, this is a dream match of mine.
What would be the second dream match that you'd want Cody Rhodes to come out of this one?
This doesn't seem like this would
Cody Rhodes versus Hulk Hogan. Dream match.
These aren't really dream matches of yours, though.
Yeah, sure they are.
So like you lay down your head, you could have any wrestlers in the world, and
that were on the indie scene. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We got to go indie because I mean,
you're right. You have to go indie because you can't choose any of the best.
This is my indie dream match.
You can't go WWE, and you can't have the best of the best.
Nope.
You're right.
Yep. This is my indie dream match. So let's roll into our first big segment of the week.
I mean, I thought we were.
No, that was just covering stuff up.
Okay.
Out, you know.
We also want to cover up. We talked about Cap and Hydra, right?
Oh God! Don't even get me started on my
So,
soapbox.
but you brought a theory to the table.
I didn't bring a theory to the table. Our good friends at Space Cadets posted on their Facebook, and I'm not sure if it was Miss Jen who owns it or our friend BMAC, but they basically kind of devised their thoughts on it. Should I go into it, or should I make them read the Facebook post?
No, go into it
Basically,
this is what we do.
Keep strolling for a minute. And I'm going to read it verbatim.
So those who don't know, Captain America was revealed. This was actually big news last week.
And it ticked me off
that he's actually been a Hydra agent from the beginning. So his entire time as Captain America has been, for lack of a better word, a double agent or a lie. And the resulting stories that are coming out of that, we haven't seen where they go yet, but it's been a little bit aggravating for Joey, who is such a huge Captain America fan.
And I want to say this is probably, it might not be BMAC. I don't think it's Miss Jen, because, anyway, so basically, what they've gotten at is that Maria Hill used pieces of the Cosmic Cube to create Pleasant Hill.
Okay.
So that was one of the big storylines that just passed through.
And Pleasant Hill is a city where they are rehabilitating the villains.
Yeah, so Pleasant Hill
have been collected.
It's an idealistic prison of the mind for a huge number of villains, including Baron Zemo.
So they're being sort of mentally subdued and rehabilitated without
So basically, they all believed that they were living out their lives in a peaceful Pleasantville type town and were regular people with mundane jobs.
Okay.
So that kind of types up what this town is all about.
A little Truman Show for you.
Well, somewhere along the way, the fragments of the Cosmic Cube formed a young girl named Kobik. Pretty crazy story in itself.
Okay.
So anyways, she had the power to create a different reality for people's perception of what reality really is.
Because she's a Cosmic Cube.
Exactly. So for mysterious reasons, the villains in the town started to wake up and notice that they were the wool was being pulled over their eyes, and that's not exactly who they were. Basically, a coup happened, and Steve was critically injured, and Kobik healed him, and that's how I guess he gets back to his younger ways. And so Kobik ended up grabbed up by Bucky, and who is now running the Thunderbolts,
right?
And so she's with him, and so basically, what they're kind of saying is that Kobik is altering everybody's reality right now, and so Space Cadets, whoever posted this, is under the impression that hopefully, or maybe, that Kobik is toying with Steve's mind and making him think that he's been a Hydra agent this whole time, when in fact we will find out at some point that he's not, and it's just his mind that's being played with. What do you think of it?
That sounds like a really logical...
It seems like a logical way out of the story that they created. It does. It also feels like a cop-out out of the story they created.
Well, it's kind of like what they did with Matthew Malloy. I think it was about a year ago when they created Matthew Malloy. He was like this ultimate mutant that killed everyone. He was like basically a god, and they were like, okay, time travel bubble character, create a time bubble. He was never born. All right,
time travel is amazing. It seems like Marvel, if this is true, they gave themselves a failsafe. Correct. If it works out, they continue. If it doesn't, we'll just fix the whole thing. Here's the reason.
Time bubble.
Time travel.
Bubble.
That's pretty good.
That was my time bubble.
I like it. So, Nico, make sure that you soundbite that. So next time, every time we say sound bubble, you'll hear Corey going.
No problem, guys.
It makes me think of Kirby, like the video game Kirby from Nintendo.
There's a bubble one. He's got a bubble power where he shoots bubbles at people.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what you're
that's
talking about.
what me and Nico, we know where we're going here.
There you go. So, okay, we're going to go from that. We're going to transition into Space City Comic Con.
Yeah, so last week, when I was ranting about how much I hated the new Captain America story, we ended the show talking about Space City Comic Con.
Correct.
Space City Comic Con was last weekend at the NRG Arena. It's the second biggest convention here in the Houston area.
Correct.
The first time we had ever been.
Yes.
We are Comic Palooza-ites, if you want to say.
Yeah, well, scheduling reasons, Comic Palooza generally happens first.
Right.
So, and typically it's the holiday
it's
weekend.
Bigger and better.
And since it's bigger and better and first, we typically go to that one, drop all of our money, and then from there we are penniless.
Yeah, so we went this time for the first time.
Because of scheduling reasons, Space City is happening first.
We went to promote Nerd Thug Radio. We met a lot of cool people, saw a lot of cool things. So, before we jump into talking about our cool things, let's pause real quick for a little station identification.
Okay. Hey, you listening to the podcast? What do you think so far? We really like doing it. Hit us up on Facebook.com/NerdThugRadio with your thoughts. Keep in mind, we're live every Monday from 1 to 3. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're everywhere. Nerd Thug Radio. All right, welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio here on Lone Star
Community Radio.
I don't know what to call it yet. Like I'm still filling
It's still
it out.
new. You're still
It's
new,
very
right?
new.
It's new and exciting.
Because I want to call it Montgomery's Lone Star Community Radio, but I also want to call it like Conroe's. Who do I give it to? How do we split this baby?
We call it Lone Star Community Radio. Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
July
18th. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so DLG, Space City Con. What was one of the things you enjoyed the most about this con?
One of the things I enjoyed the most, although we talked about two things that we never even happened. When we did our top 3 list, the 2 things I was most excited about going was Deal Day.
Whoa. Before we did Deal Day, I landed Deal Day. Okay, so here we go.
Something.
So here we go. One of the big things I talked about on Deal Day is I like to pick up art. Yes. I found my Deal Day art. Usually,
you did.
I got 5 pieces for $25.
That is a good deal.
And they are glorious.
They are good pieces.
They are very good pieces.
That's fair. I did not partake in Deal Day this time. I didn't see a lot going into it. I didn't have that one thing I was looking for this time.
Yeah.
Timing. This just timed out very oddly for all of us.
It sure did.
And
basically, it wasn't payday weekend.
That's right. That's right. And then the other thing was
nailed it.
Cosplayers.
Yeah. Well, we went on Sunday, which is the last day of the show,
which is odd because Memorial Day weekend, there's a 4th. You could have a 4th day.
You could, but this one had 3. And you're right. Even my wife was saying how
Comic-Palooza has always been 3 days too.
No, Memorial Day weekend it goes 4. Last year it was 4 days.
It was?
The last couple of years has been 4. It's been 4.
I always thought it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Your mom's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Shazam!
Drop the mic. So, anyways, yeah, there wasn't a lot of cosplaying. My kids went; they cosplayed as Supergirl and Superman.
Adorable as always.
But there wasn't a lot of just random people.
Right.
Like, usually when you're at the Jar Jar Brown convention for Comic-Palooza, there's big aisles at the end. People just levitate towards. And they're just walking around. And
you see tons and tons
of people taking pictures. There wasn't a whole lot. Plus, there wasn't even a whole lot of just actual cosplayers.
Right, traveling cosplayers.
They were gone by Sunday.
Right. And I don't want to undersell this or soft sell this. If you went and you dressed up, right now you're thinking, what? I was there. I dressed up.
Yeah, we did see a cool Rocket Raccoon.
Right.
There's a couple cool Captain Americas.
I saw a really cool Gambit.
I saw a nice Red Skull Hydra version. That was pretty good. There was a good Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a good Wolverine. You're right.
Killer Croc. Titan.
Oh, that Killer Croc
that was a good one.
Pretty good.
He had a rock, right?
Yeah, he had like a piece of concrete and a chain.
That was a good one. There were some great cosplays. I want to soft sell this and be like, there was nothing.
But there wasn't as many as we expected.
Correct. There wasn't as many as we are used to. When you go to Space City, or when you go to Comic-Palooza, I should say, you see a good number. 1 in 5, 1 in 6 is dressed up to some degree.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Level. And here at Space City, it was probably maybe 10%.
10%, yeah, definitely. 10%. There wasn't a whole lot of people dressed up.
It wasn't the same volume and quantity that you're used to if you go to the bigger con, which is Comic-Palooza.
This is true.
I was a little disappointed.
I was.
But
we had a lot of fun.
To each his own.
We went in our shirts.
We rocked our Nerd Thug Radio shirts. If you haven't got yourself one, hit me up on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio.
They're going for $25?
$25 with free shipping.
Ooh, that's
you can't beat that. It's got my beautiful face on there.
It does.
With my homeboy Tupac Shakur and our baby mama Anne Frank.
Yeah.
Frank.
Sporting the Star Wars Rebel logos.
Sporting the Star Wars Rebel logos because we love time travel.
Wild West poster.
It is great.
It's a great shirt.
It's gold.
It's a great shirt. A lot of people asked us about it. A lot of people mentioned it. So expect for that to be a hot item this summer.
So one of the things I enjoyed the most about this con had nothing to do with the con itself.
Oh.
So the 3 of us were there. My wife was there, my kids, Papa De La Guardia was there, and our friend Zack Attack / Angry Zack was there. So
I know where you're going with
our
this.
boy Zack here is a huge fan of these mystery boxes.
Loves the mystery box.
Loves mystery box.
So if you don't know what a mystery box is, it's basically what it sounds like. You pay $25 to $30 for a mystery box. You don't know what's in it. You open it up. You find all kinds of goodies.
It's a brilliant move if you're a retailer because the stuff that's not moving, you take half bad stuff, half fun stuff, you put it in a bunch of boxes.
And boom, on your way. So how many did Zach end up buying?
I want to say 3.
He bought 3 boxes. My kids left with half of the stuff he got.
Correct.
I left with the other half.
Nico left with the other half. And the one piece that he kept, he traded for like 14 Lego pieces.
Yes.
But just to see him open the box and just like get all giddy while he's opening the box, it was like watching a 4-year-old on Christmas morning.
Absolutely.
This was his Christmas.
This was his Christmas. He opened a smaller $25 one, which was really well packaged.
Yep.
It looked like the Scooby-Doo van, the mystery machine.
Very awesome.
And it said the mystery box, but it was colored and themed and overall very well packaged.
That's where he got real lucky. He pulled a really expensive Dragon Ball Z figure and he traded it for 1 million Legos.
Yeah, he traded it for several. I want to say 13.
13 mini Lego pieces.
And so now he has the entire X-Men lineup in Lego form.
It's pretty great. Those Legos are really well done.
He's my hero.
Yeah.
But then, like, we got separated at one point. I think me and my wife and the kids stopped to talk to one of our friends. So I called Zach. I'm like, hey, where you guys at? He's like, I'm standing in the middle. The mystery box is over my head. So I just walk around and just look for this tall, giant man holding a mystery box like a boombox over his head. Sure enough, it was easy to find. There he was. It was great.
All 6 feet of him.
All 6 feet of him.
But so he wound up getting another mystery box that was quite larger, and that one was full of an assortment of comic books.
A giant Star Wars puzzle.
A giant Star Wars puzzle.
That's in my house now.
Yes, it is. Also, I believe there was a Mystique Funko Pop bobblehead in there.
Yeah, man, I would have taken that. That was nice.
That was exciting.
He tried to trade it, but
nobody would trade him for it.
Oh, no, don't trade it up.
Nobody wants the Pops.
It's because no one really wants them after they had like 30 million of them.
Yeah, there's like, Funko Pop is blown up.
It is.
Like, my mom's all excited because in September they're releasing the Golden Girls on Funko Pop. And she's like, there's my Christmas present. I want all of them.
So can we then declare this the Funko Pop bubble?
This is the Funko Pop bubble.
In any moment,
it's going to burst. Time bubble. We need to travel back in time and create Funko. We need our own Funko Pops.
We do need our Funko Pops.
They should start making, like, custom Funko Pops.
Well, before we get too far down that road, Disney does sell blank vinyls. It's Mickey Mouse, and then what other artists do is
yeah, I've seen that. They
customize them.
They do release. I was in the fabric store the other day getting cosplay material for the kiddos, and they have those like same thing, but they're stormtrooper helmets. So you can design whatever kind of stormtrooper helmet. I was like, "Say, look at that! That's so cool!" I feel like a little kid in a candy store.
What would be your stormtrooper nickname?
I don't even know.
You know how they're like their fives or their there's
it'd be like Captain with like speed.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of
stormtrooper.
There's not a whole lot of stormtrooper real nicknames. I mean, there's Captain Phasma. Oh,
there was the trader guy.
But there's like FN2187, which is his number.
No, there's
tons. Rex.
There were tons in the Clone Wars.
Rex, Cody.
Yeah,
those aren't nicknames. Those are real names.
No, they're nicknames because they're all clones. They all come up with those
Rex
nicknames.
and Cody. They got the short end of the stick.
Did they? Because they had an identity, while the
Cody
others had
and
numbers.
Rex. Sounds like two dogs.
One of them was fives because his birthmark looked like a 5.
That's kind of cool. Now that's a nickname.
See, fives.
That's a nickname.
One of them was heavy because he was really good with a Gatling gun.
That would be your stormtrooper nickname.
Yes, it would.
You would be heavy
because I swing the heavy.
I was going a little opposite direction because you are heavy.
Oh.
No, or we go beard. That'd be
cool.
Yeah.
Beardo?
Looking all majestic like.
I just imagine like stormtrooper helmet, like beard poking
beard
out.
sticking out.
Right? That would be...
Cut off the little breather piece so that my beard can stick out.
That would be simply majestic.
So do we have time to do this? Because what I want to do here is I want to jump into the story that broke. Is that a yes or a no?
Oh, I was just
you can speak.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, that's how much time we have. That's how much time we've been going on.
So what do we have to get to before we need a break, producer?
Well, we just did about 13 minutes, so this is one.
Okay, so he's doing a great job starting off so far.
Yeah, what's going on over
we've
there?
got about 6 minutes. Can you get 6 minutes in here?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. Go.
What I wanted to do is I want to talk about the news that broke, and it's actually broken Houston-wide in regards...
Oh, yeah. So, you posted something on Facebook on your personal...
Yes, I did.
Facebook.
So there's something you need to know about conventions. As people are getting nerdier and nerdier and conventions are becoming more and more a thing people do, you need to understand that conventions are run by individuals.
They're run by... Well, this one specifically is run by like a LLC or something like that, like a corporation.
Well, but it's a guy.
It's like 3 or 4 guys.
Right. But what you need to understand is these organizers can be... They're just like any other business, but comic books have always dealt with 2 types of people. Straightforward people and super shady people. And so... Conventions have to deal with convention organizers who are either straightforward and honest or super shady. And so...
Super slim shady?
No, shady bad, not shady good.
Not shady good?
No.
So like D12.
Ooh, shady real bad.
Shady real bad.
So actually what happens is...
No one knows what we're talking about.
No one anymore. It's so gone.
All right, continue.
So what happened was that Space City Con invited the cast of Sons of Anarchy, and that was their big hit this year. Is that the Sons of Anarchy?
This was going to be the one-time reunion of Sons of Anarchy. It was happening in Houston, Texas. It was happening nowhere else. Nowhere else were these guys reunion.
Space City.
I'm going to create a word. Reunionizing.
Ooh.
No one else were they reunionizing. So there's people coming from all over the country, all over the world. Australia, Sweden, I heard, France, places like that to see the Sons of Anarchy.
Because this was the first time they've been together since the show, and there's not going to be a lot of these because they're going off in different directions. Some people's stars are rising. Ron Perlman's got movies to make. Charlie Hunnam's a big deal. It's going to be hard to get these guys back in the same place over and over and over again, especially after what happened this weekend, which is this con guy made promises to all of them. And as the story broke publicly, what was said was Charlie Hunnam apparently arrived first, and when he got to the hotel to check in, the credit card that was on file was declined. He then went to cash the check so that he wouldn't personally be out any money, so that he was going to use this, the money from the check from the con to pay for the room and then get reimbursed, et cetera, et cetera. The check bounced. Their funds had been closed. The account had been closed. Funds were not there. The account had been closed. So
Montreal screw job.
Right. So he gathers up the troops. By then, other Sons of Anarchy cast members have arrived. They're dealing with the same issues. So several of them go to the con to confront the promoter. Also, at this exact instant, what they don't know is ticket sales are being delayed. General admission tickets aren't being sold, but the VIP passes are available for purchase at that time. And here's the difference for those who don't know. Ticket sales generally for the event like this are $30 to $40. Sometimes $50 for like a 3-day pass, but somewhere in the $20 to $40 range is a good convention ticket price. However, if you want a deeper con experience, if you want to shake hands or have meet and greets or talk to personally or have things signed by these bigger names, you typically have to pay a lot of money in advance to get the time allotted because these people are here for 3 days. They don't have a lot of time, sometimes only 2 days.
Sometimes 1 day. William Shatner was there for 1 day.
So they have very tight windows to get people in and out, to sign things and photos and talk to and tell stories and meet and greets. So those tickets become quite expensive.
I read a story today where a lady said she spent $899 on her VIP Sons of Anarchy ticket.
Wow. So that being said, someone just almost spends $1,000 to have a VIP experience with the Sons of Anarchy, only to find out that the stars hadn't been paid, weren't being paid, what had been promised hadn't been delivered, and now all of a sudden they had agreed, most people honored their agreements and stayed and did their fan experience stuff, but none of the stars showed up for the panel.
Yeah, none of them showed up for the panel. Now, this lady did say today that she got refunded about $650 of it, but she also informed in the little article I read that some of the things that they were told about the Sons of Anarchy guys coming, the Sons of Anarchy guys weren't actually told themselves.
Right.
And so
this is
a lot of shady deal going on.
Shady.
And we say this only to tell you, this doesn't happen at every con.
No, it doesn't. Don't think that this is how cons operate. It's not.
Because Comic Palooza is ran smoothly, and it sounds like we're bashing Space. Well, you know what? We are bashing Space.
Yeah, you can't make promises to people and to fans and then dishonor
everybody
those.
that we met at Space City was amazing. They were super friendly. We made a lot of contacts. Some of those people you'll find on the show later on in the year at some point.
Absolutely.
But to the guys that run it, you really did a screw job here to the guys on Sons of Anarchy and to the fans.
And honestly, the story that became the story coming out of Space City, nobody was talking about the fun nerd stuff. Nobody was talking about the awesome Sons of Anarchy reunion. Space City blew a huge opportunity to have a really big pop culture moment. And instead, now they're known as the guys who
screwed over Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, and do you really want to be the guy who pissed off the Sons of Anarchy?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So that story broke, and actually it was all over the place. I heard it on the Buzz. I heard it on the local news.
It was on TMZ.
It was on TMZ.
TMZ. So the first morning news show is like Fox at like 4 a.m.
Right.
And we'll wrap it up with here before we jump into a break. And TMZ comes on before that. TMZ was in Los Angeles, and they met Charlie Hunnam as he was getting off of the plane. And bam, story broke right there on TMZ. The Montreal, we'll call it the Houston Screwjob.
The Houston Screwjob, I like it.
So guys, thanks for listening to that segment. When we come back, we're going to introduce you guys to a little fun game we like to play called Going Exclusive. But we're going to jump out real quick for a little station identification, and we'll be right back.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. I'm your co-host, the Captain Joey Savage, sitting alongside
Corey DLG.
And with always our producer, the original Wizard of Oz, Nico.
Oh, nice.
Nice one. I like the Wizard of Oz.
Like that one.
So, Conroe, Texas, IRLoneStar.com. For those of you who don't know, you're going to hear so many different names for Nico. You're not even going to know actually who's in the studio. What you are going to hear, you are going to hear Corey DLG. You are going to hear the name Joey Savage. We're going to be household names. When it comes to Nico, the man of many faces.
Boom.
You never know what his name might be this time.
As always, we're on Facebook.com/NerdThugRadio.
I like it. You got it in there this time. Good.
Check us out on Twitter. I'm Corey DLG.
I am Joey.Savage15 on the Instagram.
And then, as always, we have the official Twitter, @NerdThugRadio.
NerdThugRadio. So, here we go. IRLoneStar.com. We don't want to think that we're just totally boring and we only talk nerdy stuff.
What do you mean? I mean, we've been nailing it so far.
We've been nailing it.
Super
I think
nailed.
we nailed it. But from time to time, at least once every couple of weeks, we've got a couple funny segments we'd like to get into. So we want to introduce you to one of them today on the first show of Lone Star Community Radio. It's a little bit we like to call Going Exclusive. Catchphrase, some song there for Nico to play. So I'm like... So basically... Just like that. It's like 80s dance music.
Yeah.
Hey, find 80s dance music. When I say Going Exclusive, you play like the Tron intro or something.
Oh,
right?
Oh, man.
Nailed it. Okay, so this is how this game works. Conroe, Texas, Lone Star Community Radio. I give Corey DLG and Stinko Nico over here something they have to choose, they have to go exclusive with. There has to be an answer. You have to choose one or two. I will tell them if they're right or wrong. Even though there is no wrong answer, I will tell them if they're right or wrong. So I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to keep it really simple.
Okay.
So that everyone can catch on and get their pants on and their wits about them. You ready?
All right.
You have to go exclusive with one of these two, which means you have to choose one for the rest of your life.
Excluding the other.
Excluding the other. Ready?
All right.
Really simple. Pancakes or waffles.
Go. Okay. So the rest of my life, I don't get the other.
You have to either eat pancakes the rest of your life, or you got to go with the waffle.
I'm going to go pancakes because I can do multiple toppings, things inside of it. Most importantly, a smiley face.
Wouldn't it?
A smiley face pancake?
They're like really thin pancakes.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I know. I do like those. The fruit topping in the middle, they're delicious. So just say you like crepes. No, so pancakes obviously have a little bit more. You know what I said? Obviously, like
pancakes, flapjacks.
Right, like it's so clear that they're better than waffles. They're really not. I think they're both awesome. I do enjoy a nice fluffy pancake, though. I'm gonna go pancake.
You're gonna go pancake. What's your favorite pancake topping? Do you even have one?
Syrup. I don't even like to put a lot of butter. Just a little bit of butter, and then a good amount of syrup.
A little bit of butter.
I like the strawberry syrup.
Oh,
strawberry
so here
syrup.
we go to you go to IHOP, Nico. You ever been there?
I've been there. I haven't
Once,
had that
once,
though.
twice.
yeah. They got the options on your side.
So I do this little bit every time with the kids, and they crack up laughing. Right? I pick up, and I'm like strawberry, boysenberry.
So you make the syrup containers
and I'm
tall.
like blueberry, butter pecan. Every time. Gets them. They're rolling. People are looking at us like, what the heck is going on at table 12?
So just so we're all clear, that's your dad joke.
That's my dad joke. It's amazing.
That
That's
is
a solid dad joke.
See? Solid dad joke.
Ventriloquy with
syrup
ventriloquy.
ventriloquy.
I'm making the syrup come alive. It's
All
like
right,
a Tim Burton movie.
Oof. You know what would be terrifying? If Tim Burton made syrup. That would be the scariest syrup ever.
Oh,
Can we get the stop motion film with like all the main characters are just like syrups?
Have some Fearsenberry.
Boysenberry.
Made with real boys.
That would be Tim Burton.
Right, there you go.
Oh my goodness.
That would be
so
terrifying.
you go pancakes, huh? So where's your favorite place to get
He's
pancakes?
directing Dumbo.
That's
The
dumb.
live action Dumbo?
Tim
That's
Burton is
dumb.
making the live action Dumbo?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
That makes the circus
They're making all
scary
these
again.
Disney
Yeah.
movies, and they're making them live action. How do you feel about that?
Okay, I think it's actually awesome because those cartoons, while they were iconic and they had moments in our minds that we'll never forget,
Now we're in the new age.
now we're in the new age where live action can meet essentially cartoon and it doesn't look like Cool World anymore.
Yep.
To me, the opportunity is there for them to tell whatever story they want.
Yeah.
Because through the use of CGI and the best animators in the world at Disney.
You can't even spell CGI.
No, I can't. I think there's a Q in there.
Might be. Silent.
The silent but deadly cues. But the best animators in the world work for Disney. That's always been known. That's always been true. And so they can really make anything they want happen on the big screen now. And now they can put Emma Stone in the movie.
Yeah, definitely Beauty and the Beast. So where do you like to get your pancakes?
This is going to sound backwards.
Okay.
Waffle House.
Waffle House? They make pancakes? They do make pancakes.
If you ask nicely, she will make you whatever you want.
Nico, what do you think? Go exclusive with one.
This is a tough decision.
It's not Mexican breakfast.
I think I'm gonna have to go with pancakes.
Pancake, huh?
Yeah.
What do you like to eat on your pancakes? Do you like the smiley face one with the whipped cream, the cherry?
No, straight, just real boring. A little bit of butter, syrup,
A
done.
little bit of butter.
See,
So-
genetically, we're the same.
I go waffle.
Okay.
Okay.
I love me some waffles. So
Now,
the same toppings you can put on pancakes, you can put on waffles.
correct.
It's just a
Waffle
topping.
House, I don't know, but Waffle House makes an amazing waffle.
No, they do, and they also
Put the butter
the
and you put
toppings
syrups.
you can put on it.
You put syrup in each little crevice of the
I
thing.
feel like there's more ways to mess up a pancake than there is a waffle.
Yeah, here's the other
Probably.
great thing.
Probably.
Here's the other great thing. Lego my ego, bro.
Okay.
You know, if you got...
I'm going to one-up your Lego My Eggo. I'm going to go shaped pancakes. Have you seen this?
No? What is this?
They take the pancake batter and they put it in little squeeze bottles, and now artists make pancakes that are shaped like
Yeah,
things
but you're
in the
not
pan.
doing that.
So all of a sudden you can have a T-Rex pancake.
But you're not doing that.
right, but
You
show
can
me
do
your-
that with a...
show me a T-Rex waffle.
You can. You just get a cookie cutter in the shape of a dinosaur and you pop, you cut it out.
No, then you're throwing away like a
See,
third
if
of
you're in a
waffle.
hurry in the morning, you know, those frozen pancakes are disgusting.
Yeah, that
But
is
the
true.
Lego My Eggo chocolate chip flavor, or even the blueberry, you pop it in the microwave or the toaster.
The microwave, you make microwave
You
waffles.
could. I can do whatever I
Yeah,
want.
that's
Here's a
true.
big craze I've been hearing now is people are getting rid of the microwave.
What do you mean?
Like they're got rid of the microwave today.
That's heresy.
Right.
I guess
Are you
they
supposed
feel
to eat
like
anything?
I don't know, nuclear waste.
Microwaves are literally tiny waves of vibrating water to
Right.
heat up food. That's
Well, some
the
people are
most
getting rid of the
clean
microwave.
way to do anything.
That's true. Actually,
All of the proper kids that aren't like us, probably way uncool, are getting rid of their microwaves.
there's
I will
a great,
never get rid of my microwave.
That was a mistake.
that is a mistake. There's a great scene in Grandma's Boy, if you've ever seen the movie.
I've seen it 3 times.
So famously, he
Here we go.
moves in with his grandmother and her 2 roommates, 2 other old ladies. He goes out on a bender with some friends, the main character. When he comes home, he's drunk and under the influence, and he's standing in the kitchen trying to make some drunk foods. He's looking around the kitchen to find a microwave to cook all this food in.
And there's nothing
There,
there.
of course, there's not one because they're old ladies. So he then turns the oven on to 1,000,000 degrees because he's never used it before. Puts everything on one pan, including, I believe, like a banana and like some ice cream because he's drunk. Puts it all in the oven. Like 5 minutes later, he goes to get it out of the oven and he just grabs the pan with his hands, burns them completely.
Burn.
The moral of the story is get a microwave,
The
people.
moral of the story is waffles are the way to go.
But don't microwave them.
So DLG, do you have any going exclusive here? You want to get going with this?
All right. So here's my going exclusive.
All right.
You have 2 choices.
Naturally.
Your 2 choices are, this is broken because I think Nico's only going to go one way because he only knows one way here.
Okay.
So your 2 choices are, you can drive yourself for the rest of your life. However, you are obligated to do Uber 3 days a week for free.
Eee.
Or
Okay.
you can never drive, but you could ask anybody for a ride.
Nico's going to go never drive because he doesn't have a license.
Right. The man has already completed his driver's ed and still won't get a license.
Here's what cracks me up. Okay. When you're a baby, before you get a license, people are constantly driving you around.
Correct.
You get your license, and then you drive yourself, and then you are driving everyone else around.
Yeah, it
When you
changes.
become rich and famous, you never drive. Someone's always driving you around.
Correct.
So I would probably just say, I'm not going to drive anymore. You know, I'm going to be rich and famous, and probably wear a suit everywhere I go, and make people drive me around. Where are you going? The gym? Why are you in a suit? I'm famous.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But also, when you get to that point, if you can ask anyone, and assuming the question is, I can probably get a ride with anyone.
Hey, I didn't say that.
Is
I
that my
said you could-
superpower? I can ask anyone. They have to give me a ride.
They have to? You're the purple man?
Yeah. Hey, George Foreman, give me a ride.
Oh, like now you're naming celebrities to drive you?
Georgina, what if I just tweet out, George Foreman, pick me up at 5 p.m. And
He has to drive all the way.
He drives all the way to pick me up at 5 p.m.
He takes like 2 planes and a
Yeah.
boat to get there.
Hey, Brady, be here at 6 in the morning. We're going to go throw some football, but you're going to drive me to the stadium.
Wow.
That would be great.
That would be a
I'm
heck of
taking
a
this
power.
into a whole new
Yeah, you
direction.
really did.
I just went epic style. Just, boom, cats are flying around shooting lasers out of the eye. It's
And
all
you know what's interesting about that?
Yes.
You're wrong.
I know. Just because you Ubered for 3 days doesn't mean that you're right in this situation.
Okay, but you have to Uber people.
Nico?
Yeah. I don't like
obviously,
driving
You already
random
know my
strangers.
answer. I'm just gonna get picked up everywhere.
I don't like
Just
driving
drive
around
me.
random strangers.
Also,
Here's-
it also
Nor do I
removes-
like sitting in traffic in Houston.
It removes
Yeah.
the stress of driving. Oh, there's traffic. Oh, I'm just gonna take a nap.
Dude,
right
that,
here in the
that would be
car.
exciting. Like, if I didn't have to drive myself to work and someone else did,
Hang
I would
on a
just
minute.
crash.
Hang on. I want to come back to something. You were the worst passenger in the world.
Of course I
by the by.
What
Yes.
happened?
He just said it. Oh, there's traffic? I'm going to take a nap.
Exactly.
Now I have to stay awake by myself in the car.
You're the one who decided.
driving his butt around.
You're the one who decided that you wanted to drive all the time and didn't want to have someone pick you up.
I'd rather be able to drive myself. The Uber thing, I did do it for a few days. I will say this about it. It's going to sound very backwards out loud. It's
horrible.
It's weird having strangers in your car.
Would it be weirder if you were a taxi driver?
No, because it's still
That's
an
your
odd
job.
thing. Right, like it's still an odd thing where the gig is sort of to normalize the experience of riding around with strangers. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to get you from A to B, but at the same time, I'm also supposed to kind of coddle you, make you feel...
less of a man.
No, I was going to say, like, we've bonded, however, not be creepy. Like...
I have some breath mints.
Would you like a bottle of water? Here are small sandwiches. Please don't crumb up my car.
Yeah, what if you're the guy who ends up having to pick up Deadpool? How'd that turn out? That'd be kind of a weird
That was
situation.
hilarious.
Didn't even get paid.
Didn't even get paid. It's a weird situation. Next thing you
But
know,
then-
he's
but then
kidnapping a guy in the back of the trunk.
Although, you do get a bag full of guns.
You do get a bag full of guns.
That
What
was
would I
the
do with
bonus
a
there.
bag full of
Was the
guns?
bonus.
Stock up for the zombie apocalypse.
There you go. Now you're ready.
I'm not okay with that sentence.
So, Nico was wrong. You were wrong. The right answer is drive yourself, even though you have to Uber 3 times a week.
No,
But you said Uber for free, so you're not even getting paid for that.
That's fine. I'd still rather be able to...
of course, like, I want the freedom
Right.
to drive myself.
I want to know that
Freedom!
I could sleep for the exact amount of time every morning before work, and then I'm like, okay, now I get to get up and drive myself. I don't have to wait on Todd.
Or Todd
to come
can come
get
pick
me.
me up and then I can sleep in the car.
Ugh, what
Or I just
awful-
quit my job and I work down the street and I ride my bike everywhere.
There you go. But
I'll
road,
take the bus.
road etiquette...
I'll just run everywhere.
Road etiquette
run everywhere.
dictates...
I'll get a bicycle or I'll run.
I'll just become the Flash and run everywhere.
I'll just become Forrest Gump and just run across the United States of America.
That sounds awful. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I
physical activity and the DLG are not friends of each other.
No, I
No.
do
They're
not.
like arch enemies.
Forget physical activity. I don't want to run across the United States, though.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be
To run across the United
Well, I mean,
States.
you don't have to like run in one full stride. I mean, you can run like 5 miles, take a break, run 5 miles.
Oh,
take a
can
break.
I?
Well,
Can I
no,
do that for the entire length of the United States?
You physically can't, but someone could.
No, I'm just saying.
But how crazy
I mean,
is
Tom
that?
Hanks did it. He had AIDS.
No, I think he just makes like 4 movies.
I did.
There.
I did. I just crushed him while he was knocking his tooth out with holding a volleyball and
Wilson!
trapped inside of an airport. All right, so let's go on to. I mean, I always say round 3, but
Right. It's
Corey's
because you
gonna
don't
say
know what
round
rounds are.
2.
So this would be round 2.
This is round 2 because
Question-
both of us have.
But we're not
particip-
competing against one
Of
another.
course we
round
are.
2.
And I'm
Question
winning.
3.
How are you winning?
What do you mean?
Just because your answer was right, it
Yes.
means you're winning. Well, my answer was right last time, so I
No,
guess we're tied.
no.
So is this
All right.
the tiebreaker round?
No,
How's
this
this
is not.
work?
No, because I've got 2 more I want to get to.
Again,
Oh.
we're still confused on rounds. Guys, a round is when both of us go.
A round is a description of an object. It's
No,
round.
You're just saying,
No.
round is an adjective.
Round is an adjective. Look it up on Webster's dictionary. Okay, so here we go. Ready?
Okay.
I've got 2 more that are pretty good.
All right.
The first one, you have to go exclusive
Okay.
with one of these 2 TV stations.
All right.
Ooh.
The first one
I don't watch TVs.
is HBO.
Okay.
Okay.
The second one is the CW.
HBO.
HBO.
That was
Let me hear your answers.
No, I'm not even going to expand
Just
on
because
HBO.
of Game of Thrones?
No. Okay, so Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Last Week's Night with John Oliver.
Oh, so that one's a good
Silicon Valley.
one. I love Silicon Valley.
Also movies. More importantly than that, there's going to be boobies. More importantly than that, you're going to have the opportunity. They're going to shuffle things, new programming every month.
Yeah, but I'm not saying this is the only thing you can watch. So
Right.
you can watch
Just
other
between
movies.
like one or the other.
Yeah,
But when you flip the tube on, it's either got to go CW or it's got to go HBO.
yeah, HBO.
Okay, well, that's a win.
The thing about CW is I love the Arrow, I love the Flash. I'm excited that Supergirl's going there. That means those 3 shows will be there forever because CW
Legends of
commits.
Tomorrow,
Legends
Supernatural,
of Tomorrow.
The 100,
That's the thing.
The
'cause
originals.
I'm out. Supernatural, I'm out. The 100, I'm
100, the originals.
out. The originals, I'm out.
They got
Vampire
some crazy,
Diaries, I'm out.
They got some
Pretty
crazy
Little
bald
Liars,
guy.
I'm out.
They got some crazy bald guy with tattoos doing the news.
I'm out.
That's pretty good stuff.
I'm out. They've got 4 shows I watch on the whole network.
And how many on HBO too?
All the movies.
You can watch movies anytime.
Yeah,
Right.
but
I'm not
you get the HBO movies with no breaks.
Right, exactly. Also, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver is the most underrated,
It's
hilarious.
so underrated. I've never watched an episode.
You
That's
don't even
not
know what you're
that's-
missing.
That's not what underrated
Right.
is.
It's not.
It's so underrated. The captain has never even watched it.
It's journalistic, integrity, and what they actually shine lights on are amazing. They actually point out things.
Do you love the show?
I do.
Do you love it enough to marry it?
You do that every time.
Not only
Everything.
because he's 4.
Not
Not
only
only-
because it works.
Not only would I marry it, I would make John Oliver call me his husband.
I think it'd probably be the other way around. Well, he got
He's
a nice
British.
beard.
He's British.
He's got some jacked up teeth.
Plus, America wins everything. So last week tonight, they shine a light on issues all the time that are super important. They really are. They're actually the ones who broke the story on FIFA being
Free fall.
Everyone always knew FIFA was super corrupt. John Oliver did an 8-minute segment that just broke it down in such a way that by the end of it, you were like, how come they're not all arrested? And then about 2 months later, they were all arrested.
Yep, got him.
Then it was the end.
He consistently does that with things, though. One of them is Pacific Islanders aren't considered U.S. citizens for numerous reasons. And then he points out a lot of the inconsistencies, including the fact that all the laws applying to where VA hospitals have to be and such are based on the logic of by a crow's flight. So what that means is you're only if there's not a hospital within 50 miles of you by the crow flies, then you're allowed to go to an outside network for free. Well, because the Pacific Islands are a bunch of islands lumped together, even though it would still take you 2 plane flights and a boat to get there, it's within 50 miles of a crow's flight. Therefore, they're not allowed to go to hospitals on the same island as them.
That sucks.
Right.
Wow, that's...
I totally phased out like halfway through your...
Just stay with me here. John Oliver show's amazing.
All right, I'll check it out.
All right. So that being said, HBO just does better programming.
How does that a law? Crow's flight?
Right, that's the logic they use. The distance is called as a crow's flies.
Sounds pretty legit.
That sounds absolutely like they shouldn't be a measurement.
So not even like MapQuest. It's not even like if you can Google Maps to your location without having
It's
to
like
leave.
an app. Let's see.
Right.
How far can a crow fly? Where's the crow fly app?
Right.
I can't find it.
They should
Exactly.
develop that. That should be our app. Within a crow's flight.
Within
Within a
crow's
crow's
flight.
flight. So essentially they just make like, one of those old school circles with the center point.
The protractor?
That doesn't
Right.
work. That doesn't work on islands.
Exactly, but that's what they do. Oh, there's one within 50 miles of you, therefore you're not entitled
Oh,
to
my
go.
bad. That's only 4 miles or 4
And
islands
you're
away.
done.
Right.
You're dying? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We have to get on this boat
My
first.
You can't survive a boat ride
Here,
into
let me put this
airplanes.
leech on you right now. Let's see if it sucks your blood out.
Exactly. So, that being said, John Oliver, he does these great segments where he just shines lights on things where you, by the end of it, you're like, why has no one ever addressed this?
You sounds like you really like this John Oliver guy.
The show is amazing. The show
I'll check
really
it out.
is. You gotta check it when you got a minute.
I guess I have to get HBO before I do it.
Oh, okay.
I don't have HBO.
Yeah.
We got free HBO because they screwed up our cable.
Nice.
Yeah, they did.
And now they heard you.
Now you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Daily Guardia's -1. Nico, what'd you do?
We're
All right,
already
so
with negative
You want to
points.
hear my last going exclusive?
Let's hear it.
All right, this one's pretty good as well.
Okay.
Okay, I mean all of mine are good. What am I saying here?
Wow.
They've generated
Way to
great
toot your own
topics.
horn there.
Hey,
Right.
hey,
Oh, man, aren't I awesome? Isn't this great?
Best thing
What else does the captain do? I toot my own horn. All right, here we go. Ready?
That is accurate.
You have to live exclusively in one of these two places.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, you ready?
California. New
Nope,
York
not
City.
even. No, you don't. You're going like the
Super
total wrong.
expensive.
You're going the total wrong area. You have to live in the school of Hogwarts
Oh.
or in the X Mansion, the school for the gifted.
Wow. This is a fantastic question.
Exactly. That's
All
why
right.
we're going to end it here. We got a good 11 minutes ish to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with.
He's going to
X-Mansion.
jump right in there.
Yeah, I'm ready here.
I'm taking X-Mansion because I feel like I get to see so many more different powers. Plus, I get to hang out with kids like kind of around. Well, I guess it's a school, so I guess everyone.
Your
would kind of be around the
statements
same
made
age.
no sense at all because magic they can do the same amount of cool things.
Yeah, I was
This is a
thinking
really
that.
really tough one.
But you got a kid who's a brain on a chain. Like you're not gonna get that at magic school.
Yeah, I don't really care to see a brain on chain.
I don't know. That would be kind of neat. That would be kind of
Because it
cool.
rhymes.
Well,
He's,
yeah,
he's a
doesn't-
brain. He's a brain on a chain. That's your best friend. Like,
Doesn't that
what?
sound appealing?
Not at all.
You got
Not
a
even
kid.
a little?
You got
No.
a kid who's like
Not
a
so
skeleton in some like Jello. That's pretty neat.
That is true. Those are both correct actual mutants created by Grant Morrison.
You got Apocalypse as a kid.
That's true.
Kid Apocalypse.
So here's my question.
Sure,
It's
go
a
ahead.
clarification.
Let me
here.
clarify for you. Clarify.
If I'm living in one of these two locations, does that mean I am one of those two things?
I would assume so. Yes.
So I'm either a mutant
Yep.
or a kid wizard.
Yeah. Sure. Why not? We'll play along.
I think I would. I'm gonna throw a curve here. I think I'm gonna go Hogwarts
I knew it.
because
That actually, okay, I'm kind of thinking about it.
you could do a lot of fun stuff,
Right, man.
and then I would totally go rogue.
Just bounce out.
Yeah, like the ungraduated wizard. I'd be the wild card.
You'd be the guy that got kicked out of school before he
Right, I'd be the-
graduated the school of magic.
I'd be like the Fonz, the cool rebel.
The cool rebel.
Yeah. So you got the leather jacket, you got the
Is it
satchel
like-
full of magical items.
Isn't Harry like the Fonz in a sense?
No, Harry's the hero. So
yeah,
he would
but he's
actually
kind of
be
an outcast at
He's
at times
actually a
because
total nerd.
he's a total nerd.
yeah, but he's kind of an outcast at points, or the cool kid on campus.
He is an
He's
outcast,
just really smart.
but he's also heavily involved with the faculty. Like that's not
Yeah,
cool
sure.
when
That's
you're a
not-
student.
That's not the Fonz.
No, like think about when you were in school and there was always the kid who was Nico. It was you. I'm sorry.
Factual.
Right, because your parents were always faculty, and because they moved you school district to school district.
Your best friend was the gym teacher.
Right, so like
And
you
the
knew,
janitor.
you
Hey,
knew.
those guys were actually really, really awesome.
See, he knew the staff on a personal level, and so that's something that you like, but the other students are like, that's weird.
I always made
That's
friends
weird.
with the janitor at school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is it because he
he's
could
usually
score drums?
No, because it could get me to my own private bathroom.
Oh, hey, that's actually
Pretty sweet,
smart,
right?
Yeah.
There's like a private bathroom in my school. It was like me and like two other guys. He like gave us a key, so
So there would
when I
always
go
be.
drop the deuce, I go to my private bathroom.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah,
There would always be one or two teachers who were kind of anti-establishment.
yeah.
Like they hate their gig, but they love their gig kind of thing.
Speaking of teachers, before I get into what you're about to say,
Yeah.
so on this program, irlonestar.com, there is a talk show here called Hanging with the Haters.
Okay.
I don't know if I've told you about this yet, but one of the stars of Hanging with the Haters is a man by the name of Mr. Mark Hater, and he was one of my history teachers in high school.
Oh,
He was kind of
hanging with the haters. I
get
get
it?
it.
He was kind of anti school establishment. Very knowledgeable. He writes for the paper. Very awesome that he's doing the show. So I'm hoping that I can contact with him and connect.
Hang out with him.
Not hang. No, I can hang out. Dude's hilarious.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, most people don't think their teachers are very cool, but this guy was hilarious.
I had several teachers that were really cool.
I think I was like a sophomore when I was in his class. So I mean, it was pretty funny. But anyway,
Okay, all right,
so,
okay.
So you're Hogwarts. You're a Hogwarts.
I think I'm Hogwarts because I think
What house would you be in?
here's
Slytherin.
Hufflepuff.
No.
Slytherin.
Well, explain the houses to me again because I'm not 100%.
There's Slytherin, Hugglepuff, right?
Hufflepuff.
Hufflepuff. There is
Best name.
Best name. There is what's the one Harry's in?
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor, and no one ever remembers the last one.
Ravenclaw.
Okay, so tell me what the differences were. I know Slytherin were like the bad guys, right?
Right.
They were like
So these would eventually be
spooky,
the
snaky.
evil wizards?
Not
Essentially-
necessarily, but like they're really like kind of like. Oh,
Remember
like,
how
is this
there's,
really a bad guy?
Remember how there's like that group of kids in school who aren't necessarily the good kids? Like
Yeah,
they
that
just
was
cause
me.
the trouble.
Right, that was me.
That's how Slytherin. That's
So,
that's
so you would be.
I probably was Slytherin. But what is Ravenclaw? Because that sounds neat.
Ravenclaw. I'm not quite sure.
I don't know much about.
They
the
didn't
Harry
get much
Potter
into
stuff.
Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff.
Everyone
Okay.
knows that Hufflepuffs are just all the softies.
Yeah,
Are
they're
they?
Yeah.
Hufflepuffs?
So would there be like a BA Hufflepuff guy?
Maybe
Most
so.
likely, but probably like he'd be cool amongst the Hufflepuffs, but he's actually like really lame in comparison to everyone else.
No, like okay. Remember in the movie The Mighty Ducks, how they had like
Love that
the
movie.
one scary guy who everyone was like, I heard he's married with 2 kids.
Which is actually the guy who plays Fozzie on Daredevil.
Yeah, yes it is. He really
Bring
had
it back.
Nice.
Bring it back.
he had a very bizarre transformation there.
I know he did. It's great. He's making the comeback. He was also in what was a movie with Jennifer Lawrence? Not Kill a Mockingbird. It's a
Silver
great
Lining?
book. No, the one. The one
Oh,
she got big for.
the Mockingjay.
Yeah,
The Hunger Games.
Oh,
Hunger Games.
okay.
He was in the third and fourth one, I believe.
Was he?
When
Those
he
two I
couldn't
haven't
talk.
seen.
When he couldn't talk.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That'll teach him.
Yeah, I'll teach this guy.
But so yeah, I mean, maybe I'd want to go to Hufflepuff and be like the BA of Hufflepuff. People are like, hey, there's our champion.
Okay, so
Boring.
Hufflepuff School values hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty. Definitely not you.
Well, justice and loyalty, I'm all about.
They're all about like herbology and all that kind of good
No,
stuff.
I'm out.
Yep,
Yeah.
see, told you.
Herbs.
And then Ravenclaw values intelligence, creativity, learning, and wit. That would be you.
That would be me.
You would be totally Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw.
I would be a Ravenclaw. But I would then be
All about charms and stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, I totally would do that. And so, but I would also be the fun. Like I'd go rogue here. As soon as I hear the Death Eaters are plotting something,
You're like, I'm out.
I'm gonna go Batman, Nick Fury. I'm gonna go underground and make a super counter plan.
You're gonna go on the wall.
I'm gonna go build my own army of unknown off the board players.
That'd be awesome.
Harry Potter's weakest
you're
moment.
gonna get the BA Hufflepuff guy.
Right. Harry Potter's weakest moment. I show up with this whole unknown army right there at the gates of Hogwarts when Goofy Tooth Kid pulls a sword from the hat.
Neville Longbottom.
When Neville Longbottom makes the striking blow and says, listen, Harry's dead, but so what? I show up with the army and save the day.
Okay, 3 reasons why I would choose the School of Hogwarts over X-Men.
Okay.
Number 1 is going to be Quidditch.
Okay. Yeah.
How fun does that game look?
It looks pretty intense.
I feel like I'd be a pretty good beater.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I would just be mashing people left and right.
Oh, in the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
This is a family radio station.
Okay.
This guy, always, it's the shaved head. If you guys don't notice, because you can't see us, we're not wearing masks. But I did give the DLG a haircut today, and so he looks
false.
He looks amazing.
You're a lie.
But Quidditch, I mean, it's team sports. It's got that school feeling to it.
Yeah, it does seem really sound like old school college football.
Number 2.
Okay.
Have you seen the good stuff those guys eat there?
Right.
How many times have you seen people eat good food at the X Mansion?
You never really.
I don't even know if they even have a cafeteria. There's a kitchen, we know, but
there might not be a cafeteria because it probably keeps getting blown up.
Exactly. So the food.
They're just like, I don't want to rebuild this again.
Yeah.
Food.
I'm done,
And the
guys.
third and most important reason, those kids actually get to go home. Like when the X Mansion, whenever like it's summer break or whatever, like they're not accepted in the world. Like that
was what I was thinking.
They're secluded. But Hogwarts, they just go back to
Yeah,
their
but
own
wouldn't that
magic
kind of
town.
create this fun, like, if you go to the X Mansion, I'm going to make the counter argument here. When you go to the X Mansion, you have an opportunity to maybe be an Avenger or an X-Man someday. You're going to meet Captain America. You're going to bump into, not Rogue.
You're going to
kill
bump
you.
into Albus Dumbledore.
You're
You're
gonna-
going to bump into Sirius.
Right, but you're going to bump into Wolverine.
You're going to bump into Severus Snape.
You're going to meet Cyclops.
You're going to fight Lucius Malfoy. You're going to meet Harry Potter.
See, and I'd be so over it. I'd be like,
Oh,
oh man, this
Hermione.
guy.
Oh,
Look at this nerd.
Yeah, no,
God.
Hermione.
The Weasleys.
The Weasleys would have a problem because I'd be on that Hermione.
It would be pretty amazing.
Also, I'd be the cool American if I go to. If
You'd be
I
the
go to
only
Hogwarts.
American at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Who
Like-
is this portly fellow who just showed up from
Right.
America?
Bro, magic. What up?
What up?
Lightning!
And then you like throw Magic the Gathering cards in his face.
That would be hilarious.
See, I would just yell out the English word of my spells the whole time.
That's pretty good too.
Levitate.
Right. They're like, you're supposed to be in Latin, and I'm like, no, levitate, bro.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed our Going exclusive segment. We've got another really cool one we call Would You Rather. We'll probably touch on that sometime next week, introduce it to you. We're going to jump out to a little break here real quick. When we come back, we're going to get into a segment we do every week called The Weekly Top 3.
I like it. We didn't even get to do my would you rather use a quill pen forever or text emojis only.
Emojis only. Take it out to a break.
Did you know your favorite show on Lone Star Community Radio are on social media? Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, you name it, they're on it. Check out where they are online on irlonestar.com/shows and see which of your favorite hosts are online. Make sure to follow them and see what is in store for the next broadcast. Follow Lone Star Community Radio on Twitter at irlonestar or Facebook with facebook.com/irlonestar.
Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio
Talking nerdy.
on its new home here on the Lone Star Community Radio Network.
Conroe's FM, soon to be 104.5, 106.1.
Nice.
Sister Station.
Sister stations. I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys are too.
Finally, we're on Sister's Breath.
That was
I'm your co-host, Joey Savage.
worst joke.
Sitting here with my main man.
Corey DLG, and if you think there's a joke I won't make, you don't know me.
You don't know me. To my right here, which you guys definitely cannot see, is the legend of Kunlun himself, Nico.
Oh, the Iron Fist.
The Iron Fist.
With a thing wrought onto iron.
Alright, so DLG, every week we have a weekly top 3.
This is true. This is a brand new segment we're starting. Don't call us liars. We're doing it now.
It's called the weekly top 3. Every week we're going to pick a topic. We're going to give you our top 3 favorite things in said topic. And Nico will come up with some cool, like, intro music to play. So, weekly top 3. Corey, this week we're talking top 3 favorite cartoons we watched when we were growing up.
Doesn't it sound like a top 3 would be a great thing to sponsor, though?
It would be a great thing to sponsor. If you are looking to sponsor Nerd Thug Radio, hit us up at nerdthugradio@gmail.com or on the Facebook page, facebook.com/
Nerd Thug Radio 10.
Alright, so, DLG,
Just 10.
your number 3.
My number 3, Thundercats.
Thundercats is a good one.
Thundercats.
Thundercats. Ho! Lionel was such a great character.
Now here's what keeps us low on my list, though.
Okay.
Before I get into my pros,
Lionel was actually 7 years old.
well, that didn't bother me when I was a kid because I was 7 and I thought I too could be Lino. See the brilliance there? That's why they did it.
Brilliant.
Genius.
But my bigger problem is the action figures were very immobile.
Yeah, they very much were.
So they were bigger than all the other action figures because Thundercats didn't play with your friends.
No, they did not.
And so also they only bent at basically the pelvis and the shoulders the head. So there was no wrist, there was no elbow, there was no knee, there was no
So it was
mid-leg.
only your third favorite cartoon because of the action figures.
Right. Here's the thing about our Saturday morning experience, which I've now learned as an older man. What they did.
Are you a man though? You're just a big old boy.
I am all big old boy man.
All right, what you got?
So
We'll start calling that Corey DLG, the big boy man.
The big boy man. So here's what they did though to help mitigate the cost of the shows. They brilliantly would go to toy companies and essentially have the toy company co-create the cartoon with the animation and the writers and all that.
Hence, that's where He-Man was born. He-Man was an action figure first. They turned into a cartoon in order to boost themselves.
This has been a thing in animation for a really long
No
time.
one cares about animation.
But this is how it starts. It starts with our
Just
Saturday
kidding,
mornings. Our Saturday mornings, the Super Friends, the Thundercats, the G.I. Joes,
That's how
Transformers.
Anime Gundam, that's how it's originally got its start because they couldn't afford to continue the show. That was released in 1979. So
Wow.
79 was a great year. I wasn't born yet.
I was not either.
So what else about Thundercats do you like? Nico, have you ever seen an episode? Not the new
No, I haven't watched
the
new
original
Thundercats. I have never watched the original Thundercats, but the new Thundercats looks amazing.
It was pretty good.
I did see some new episodes of the new Thundercats. I really enjoyed it. They actually were taking a time and telling a really different story from the first series, but still really interesting. One thing about Thundercats that I think they basically hint at but never really say is that they're on Earth, I think.
Yeah. I think
Are they?
so.
Yeah, I believe they're actually on an Earth where there are no humans, which means it better be way in the future or way in the past. And I still haven't found my cat mountain, so I'm hoping it's the future.
I hope it's the future because...
But they had cool tanks.
They had cool vehicles, they had cool characters.
And then they were hanging out with one black friend, Panthro.
Yeah, Panther. I mean, it was a great show.
I enjoyed it.
A lot of fun memories growing up watching Thundercats together we had. Yeah, very good stuff.
The one thing I didn't understand, though, about the show, they never really expand on this. They just act like it's totally cool and normal. Two things, I suppose.
Okay.
One being Snarf. Snarf. He's funny. He's cute. He's adorable.
What is he do?
Why is he not a cat? What is going on there? Why is he not one of the cat people?
I don't know.
Why isn't he
Good
not?
question.
Why is he not just like a tiny cat or like why is he shaped like some sort of other dinosaur thing?
This just makes you wonder. It's kind of like Goofy and Pluto. It's like they're both dogs.
No, Goofy's a cow.
Goofy's a cow? I've been lied to my whole life.
Goofy is actually bovine. If you go back to the original lineup
You
of
just
animals,
rocked Nico's world.
if you go back to the original lineup of animals, there was one of each kind. So there was
Like Noah's
one
Ark.
dog, one cow, one duck, one mouse.
So he's really a
My whole life
cow?
is over.
Yeah.
But there's like the cow in the
There
show.
was the cow one, though.
Yeah,
There
what's
was
her
the
name?
That's supposed to be his girlfriend, Bessie the cow, the girl one.
Oh, really? That's awkward.
Remember, because they paired them all except Pluto, which, by the way, the real question is how come Pluto can't get a break? You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what I'm saying? Okay, so...
My life is over.
Your life
My
is
whole
over.
life is a lie.
Why is your life over?
Because-
he's a cow. Move on.
he's a dog, and he's just more technologically advanced.
Goofy's a cow. Trump for president. Transgenders in the bathroom. Move on.
Political aspects of the Nerd Thug radio show. Disregard the last statement.
But yeah,
These
Snarf
user
confused me,
opinions.
and then also in the third season when like 8 other cats showed up.
Out of nowhere.
Oh,
hey, guys.
season 2 ends, season 3 begins. Hey, remember we've been here the whole time?
What?
No, I don't think you have, blind cat. I don't remember you.
No, but we were 8, so we believed it.
Yes, we did.
Now we know the truth.
Oh, yeah, I totally remember those guys.
We bought a hook, line, and sinker, and we bought the toys, and we were like, they have been here the whole time.
Thundercat toys were so awesome.
We were stupid, but the show was awesome.
The show was awesome.
Sword of Omen.
It's still pretty iconic.
You know what I think got me, and I just realized it?
Yes.
I love epic weapons with cool names.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones has names all these
Those
great swords.
yeah.
Oathbreaker, Oathkeeper. The Dawn of the Morning Star is the greatest swordsman on
Yeah.
The Dawn Star is a sword in Skyrim.
There we go. Do you play Skyrim?
I did. I love Skyrim, but it killed my PlayStation. I'm waiting on a
It
new
also
Skyrim.
Killed, it also killed one of our PlayStations.
It also
Actually
killed the
really sad.
radio star.
No, that was video.
Oh, okay.
That was video.
Okay.
But so the Sword of Omens, I mean, it's got this great name. And then he had the Paul thing, which somehow got no name, though.
Yeah, it was just a Paul
It
thing.
was just a Paul thing.
It was just there.
Right. holster for Sword of Omens? Is that, I mean...
I guess so.
That's it. That's all it is. It's nothing else.
The Glove of Omens.
Side gig as grappling hook? Like...
Yeah, who knows?
Side gig of Omens.
But I did like the cool names of... I always love the epic names of things like that. The Sword of Omens. Give me sight beyond sight.
Yeah, that was a good one. Give me some kind of crazy name, and Corey DLG's going to like it.
Oh, yeah, man. It adds a sense of epicness, doesn't it?
It does. It makes something very epic.
Like, that's
instead of it
not,
just
that's
being
not
like
a cool sword. That's the Sword of Omens.
I mean,
Right.
even in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, he's got the different swords, the different daggers.
All
and
the
stuff.
great blades have names.
That's true. They do. Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Nailed it.
In the Dragonlance novels, there's a little Kinder who's like a main character. He's a fun character. His name is Tasselhoff Burfoot.
That's
He
a great
finds
name.
a tiny little dagger, and they nickname it Rabbit Slayer to tease him.
Yeah.
But then he takes it to heart because it has a name. It's a great sword.
Great sword.
The Rabbit Slayer.
Oh, that's so great.
So my number 3 favorite cartoon to watch growing up,
Hit me.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hero in a half shell.
Turtle power.
So 1987 to like 1996 or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, this
huge
show
run.
was on forever.
And
10 years.
It filled my entire closet full of toys.
Oh my gosh, we had so many turtle toys. You more than I did.
You were more G.I. Joe
Well,
toys?
let's not get into that yet, because it's coming. It's coming up.
I believe
here.
it.
It's coming up.
I
here.
believe it.
Yeah, but Ninja Turtles, man. I mean, even today, like they're still around. Like
They're
They've
what other-
resurged.
what other cartoon besides, I mean, the Transformers are kind of still legitimately around from the 80s.
Right.
But the Ninja Turtles have lasted this entire time. They've revamped them, they've redone stuff.
The
They put
Nickelodeon
out-
show is really solid.
It is really
Is
good.
it?
Yes.
You know, they did an animated movie about...
That was really good
6
too.
or 7 years ago now.
I've got it in my collection.
I enjoyed
I've
that
got
movie.
every single Ninja Turtle movie they've made on the DVD.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. But I mean,
Exciting.
there were so many great characters in this thing.
Yes, there were.
So,
Metalhead.
some of my favorite...
Muckman.
Yeah, there were... Well, one of the cool things is 2 of the original characters, Leatherhead and Slash, were villains in the original, but as Nico mentioned in the new Nickelodeon cartoons, they're actually friends of the Turtles, which is...
Oh, aren't they really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's a little twist on it. But my favorite episodes were always the ones that had to do with Dimension X.
Okay,
They go to
yeah.
Dimension X.
Yeah.
And there was that teenage group or the kid group, the Neutrinos. You remember those guys? Like, all they wanted to do was have fun. Like, that's all their world was
yeah,
about.
we're just hanging out.
I just wanted to be a neutrino. Like, I couldn't be a turtle because I'm obviously not a turtle,
Whoa.
but I could be a neutrino.
You could be a turtle. I'm
Why?
looking at you right now.
Why?
All
Because
you're
of my head
missing
shape?
is you're turtle shaped.
Well,
you're missing a
know,
shell.
I do know karate.
There you go.
I don't have hair,
Right.
and I do have muscles.
And a lot of green. You're fairly well inked.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I could be a turtle
You
now.
could
But
be a
as a
turtle.
kid,
You could not.
I wanted to be a neutrino.
Okay.
Those guys were amazing.
They were the jam. And also,
And seeing the little, like we've been talking about the brain on the chain,
right,
Krang the brain inside the big, like,
robotic
suit.
the very odd, is he a sumo? Is he a robot? What is he?
What is he? And then you got Shredder. I mean, what about the cool punk frogs? Remember those guys?
Yes, I do.
Like a bunch of southern frogs from Florida that were supposed to be like the Shredder raised to fight the turtles and then became friends with the turtles.
best buds.
Yeah.
They're all flip-flops and Hawaiian
Yeah,
shirts.
that was my
I
favorite
just
Ninja
imagine
Turtle
like a
action
Hawaiian
figure.
version of like the Battletoads.
Yeah,
It was
my-
before the Battletoads,
yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, it was my favorite action figure. Was one of the frogs. He's got the Hawaiian shirt on, wrestling trunks,
Yeah.
and like flip flops.
Yeah, he's
that
just
was
hanging
awesome.
out. I do remember that.
But yeah, man, it would come on Saturdays, and then it was so popular, it would come on Monday through Friday. So like,
Right.
get home from school, bam, Ninja Turtles every day for like
all
10 years of my life.
And
10
it,
years.
there were just, well, it was. They would go on so many adventures, and they would do so many things.
And
And there were
so
so
many
many
characters.
action figures. I had all of them. All of them.
Tons of them. It was very easy to go to the DLG's birthday when we were kids because
Get him a new turtle.
we'd go by
Right.
Newton. That's all we did.
Right.
Ninja
That
Turtles.
was it.
Oh, done.
That was it. Nobody would even ask me what I wanted, but they were just like, more turtles. And I was like,
Corey just
more
wants
turtles!
And now, like, my
Yes!
kids are really into the Ninja Turtles.
That's the fun part,
And
is
that's
seeing,
what
seeing your kids, seeing my nephew and niece also are just, they get into this stuff now. And it's like, my mom gave my old chest of toys
Yeah.
to my nephew now to play with. And he's getting into there, and all those things are back now. Plus, Netflix has all these old cartoons and stuff.
Netflix and Hulu shows it all.
So he knows exactly who's in the box just as well as I do.
We haven't
It's
even talked
great.
about Casey Jones.
We haven't talked
Or
about
April
Casey
O'Neil.
Jones.
Oh, how hot was April O'Neil?
She was like the first crush when you were a kid. Was
Oh, yeah.
April O'Neil.
That yellow suit.
The yellow jumpsuit with the little camcorder.
Yeah, it was pretty good stuff.
Nowadays, sadly, it's Megan Fox and a cell phone.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
Well,
like
you gotta-
that's
That's the new April O'Neil.
You gotta soup it up. We gotta soup it up for the now times. All right,
That's
so
just more of an extreme. Hey guys, it's Michael Bay here.
That's true.
boom. What did we watch the other day?
Were they put the explosions in there?
So,
Michael
the other
Bay
day-
directed Up.
So the other day, I went to watch Age of Apocalypse
Yeah.
at the Alamo Drafthouse, and I was telling the DLG here how the Alamo Drafthouse shows like really off the wall previews, and one of the things they do is they show YouTube videos of different things, and one of them was what if Wes Anderson directed an X-Men film, and it was hilarious.
It was great.
So I made the DLG watch it, and then we saw this preview for if Michael Bay directed the movie Up.
Oh,
And
no.
it was awesome. If you guys haven't seen this YouTube video, just go to YouTube, type in Michael Bay directing Up. It is hilarious.
It's essentially a recut trailer as though Michael Bay was making. So it's got a lot of like the heavy bass,
and it's got like what
explosions in the
Linkin,
background.
It's got Linkin Park,
Linkin
Oh,
Park,
Linkin
soundtracks at
the
the back.
piano playing in the background.
They're like they make the grandpa look like really serious in certain situations. It's awesome. All right, so now that we've segued from Michael Bay,
No, I totally think
all you can think of is his face and just boom, boom, boom,
Explosions.
explosions in the sky. Great band, by the way, Explosions in the Sky. If you
I
guys
have heard
remember.
them. I have heard them.
That's very good stuff. All right, DLG,
All right, so my number two here.
number 2. Did I steal your number 2? with
No,
saying Ninja
you
Turtles?
didn't actually. Matter of fact, I didn't put them on the list.
Woo!
Wow.
Your favorite thing growing
Your
up.
favorite,
My
your
favorite thing
toy.
growing up. I kind
I think
of
it's your favorite toy, not necessarily.
yeah, because there were tons of times where I would be okay with missing the episode. There was one cartoon that I was not okay with missing the episodes on Saturday mornings though, and so a lot of times I would want to leave football practice a little bit early so that I could catch this. Or when we were playing games on Saturdays, I wanted to leave late for the games so I
you
could catch
finish-
this cartoon
I'm interested.
because we couldn't use the record button. X-Men.
X-Men.
That
That is, I mean, we'll go ahead and talk about because that is my number 1 favorite cartoon growing up.
Oof, okay.
So we'll just throw it all out there right now.
Let's mix it up.
Let's go. Hit me
So
with
here's
it.
my thing. I was a huge comic book nerd.
Yep.
Even back then, we were 8 and 9 years old, and I am hip deep in comic books at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm reading them all, and I'm loving every bit of it. And no one else, you and I did, but
Yep.
no one else
None of our friends were
read
into
comic
comics
books
like we were.
so they didn't get it. So I would tell them stories. I'd be like, "You don't understand. These things are awesome. These are such cool characters." And they couldn't. I would tell them about Wolverine. I would tell them about Cyclops and Professor X. I would tell
No
them about the
one
Phoenix
would
Saga.
get it.
They don't get it.
No.
All of a sudden, Saturday morning, 10:30 in the morning, 11:30 Eastern. What happens? A lightning bolt smashes into Earth and out
Badoom.
pour the X-Men.
One of the great things about the cartoon itself is it like covered every single awesome storyline.
Right, it
So,
has such a
Days
great
of Future
run.
Past.
Exactly.
Age of Apocalypse, the Phoenix Saga, the Hellfire Club, Mojoverse, the Savage Land, the Mr. Sinister stuff. I mean, it covered all the awesome
Weapon X stuff.
Weapon X stuff. Every awesome comic book storyline X-Men did was in this cartoon.
Right. And
If
a
you
lot of-
haven't seen it, hold on, it's on Hulu. You can watch every episode of
Oh,
X-Men
I'm
92
gonna
on
get down on
Hulu.
it's not on Netflix
It's
anymore?
on Hulu now.
Oh,
I got the Hulu, so I gotta watch it on Hulu.
there you
Give
go.
me your Hulu account so I can steal it.
All right, so
What? That
DLG.
is inappropriate. That is theft.
I mean, on top of that, I mean, it touched on stuff like it touched on divorce.
Right.
It got into touching on stuff about the Holocaust.
Also, yeah, that's the thing is these characters were so deep that when you tell their stories, you kind of have to touch on things and explain things that maybe not every kid would see.
It touched on the AIDS episode,
It touched on AIDS. It also touched on, death,
Christianity,
grief.
everything.
I
man.
mean, it handled a lot of different things.
being alone, coping with that.
Depression. It dealt with a lot of things and it handled it in a little
It's
bit of
something that a kid show should do.
Listen, not
yeah, exactly.
not having a father growing up, I learned a lot of things from the show.
You learn a lot from TV in general.
I did.
Hence this show.
It's here we are. It's here we are. So
This is
DLG,
the ultimate solution.
DLG. What was your favorite episode? Do you have a favorite episode or one that like always stands out to you?
So
I have one.
there's one character that really kind of encapsulates this
his
show.
name
for
Cable?
me. No, it's not.
Just kidding. I love
I
that
know
guy.
you're obsessed with Bishop and Cable, and it drives me crazy. But there's one character and there's one moment that always sticks with me about this show, and it was
Okay.
really kind of how perfect Saturday mornings were because of this. So there was a character, Morph.
Morph, he was in the first season, and then he came back again, season 4?
Right, he kind of made some random appearances. They told a really cool story with him. But what was interesting about him was they wanted to create an X-Men that they were going to get rid of in the first episode as a catalyst. Oh, an X-Man died.
Right.
We're going to tell this story. It's going to be sad. But they couldn't agree on who to get rid of. So they went to the old X-Men archives and they found a character called Changeling.
And they
However,
repackaged
DC
him as Morph.
Comics now own the name Changeling. So rather than get into a battle, even though there was no Changeling on TV, legally they probably could have done it. The easiest thing to do is just name him Morph and move on from there. So he's a shapeshifter. He's in the first two episodes together.
Right.
He gets killed by a sentinel, you think. He winds up showing up much later. And it's a really interesting story when he shows up.
Yeah.
But what was cool is suddenly there was this potential. There was this moment where anyone in the entire X-Men universe was up for grabs, could be in this cartoon, and now you watch every Saturday, who are they going to put in
there
this
were
cartoon?
so many people, so
Right.
many villains and heroes and guest spots.
Yes.
And it was awesome.
And that's what morphed kind of the first two episodes. They went and they grabbed a guy from 1960-something
And dropped him
put him in the comic, put him in the show.
Dropped him with X-Men Blue Strike Force.
So here's the moment. Here's the moment that always stuck with me, is Rogue famously was always struggling with the fact that she couldn't touch someone. She felt very alone. Her power is set up and designed that skin-to-skin contact, she absorbs the memories and powers
She's done.
of the people she touches, and it hurts them.
Yep.
So she's always dealing with this and dealing with her depression and her isolation. And so what she winds up doing is, at one point, there's an episode where they discuss possibly a cure. You find out that Apocalypse is really behind this, trying to find mutants to turn into horsemen. Warren Worthington III has wings, famously. He's Angel. He is crossing paths with Rogue. They're both flying in opposite directions. One of them's heading to find a cure, one of them's heading away from it because he wants nothing to do with it.
Yep.
They cross paths, and Warren says, "What? You're flying." She says, "Of course I'm." And he says, "You don't have wings." And she goes, "Oh, thanks for noticing." And he goes, "You're so lucky." And he flies off. And she's like, "Are you kidding me?"
I
And
can't touch anyone.
she flies in the other direction. Both of them are just so down on themselves, and down in their own situation. And it's such a cool moment because you're 10 and you're watching and you're like, well, they both have really bad lives. Like, they should talk to each other.
Yeah,
they should express that.
Should hash it out.
And you realize all of a sudden that's the world. You're going day to day. You're dealing with your own stuff. You're seeing your own problems. You're dealing with your own stuff. And you cross paths with someone else, and you just make a snap judgment, and you say to them, "You have it so much better than I do." And it was this cool moment where you realize if you live your life like either one of them, you're gonna mess something up.
So yeah, it's just gets into the fact that
Did I take it down too far?
you went a little deep there. But no,
I
it's just
think that's an important part of kid shows because these shows are supposed to. These are what you grow up on. This is something that's supposed to teach you these values that you are supposed to. You know, you're mentioning this moment now, and you're
32 years old.
32-year-olds going on 33, and you remember this from this kid TV show.
That's true. That's how much of a big deal.
So
it is.
kind of getting into that, my favorite episode, the one that always sticks out to me, is the Nightcrawler episode. So Gambit and Rogue and Wolverine go on a vacation to go skiing in like Germany.
Okay.
Why they decide to go all the way to Germany
To ski,
but they're there.
That's where he's from, Kurt Wagner.
Correct.
And so, they hear this legend of this like terrible monster or something,
Oh,
and so
I
they
remember
have to
this,
go.
yeah.
And this is the first episode where you meet the Nightcrawler, and he's in this like
Kurt Wagner.
he's in this monastery, and they have to help him. And so you're introduced to the Nightcrawler, which is such a great character, one of DOG's favorite characters.
Absolutely.
One of my favorites too.
But just being as a kid, you see like kind of going off of what you took out of that is. For me, it always said to me, like, no matter, like, you know, the Wolverine was, like, the cool guy. He could do whatever he wanted to. He never stopped taking the chance, no matter where he was, to help somebody else out.
Right.
And so it's kind of something that I adopted and I've just used my entire life is I'm always helping people out. Like, I'll go out of my way a lot of times to help people out. If they need help doing this, help me doing that. I enjoy helping people, and it can stem a lot from seeing... Like this cartoon
childhood
show,
heroes.
my childhood heroes. They help people no matter what the person looked like. I never judged people growing up, no matter if they were a different color than me, different race, different size, different religion, none of that.
Right.
And we took a lot of that stuff from a simple kid's cartoon.
And it was because it had such a great run, and it talked to us in our terms. It showed us our favorite things, our superheroes, and it told stories with them that were
It was
really
just
cool.
so awesome. Not even awesome being a kid, but no one was into comics like we were.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were talking about this the other day, like, where did our love of comics come from? I don't even know. But, you know, we didn't, you know, me and DLG were cousins, so we're like brothers growing up. So a lot of weekends we spent time together, summers all the time together.
Our moms were famously best friends.
And they were cousins, so it worked out. But when we'd be at school, like, none of my friends at school, like, I played sports, you played sports, like, nobody was into comics. I'm like, man, I can't wait to go to Corey's house.
Right.
And we get back on the stuff. I mean, you remember we were talking, like, in 94, like, what if they made an X-Men movie? Who would play who? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? We always thought that, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger would be
Colossus.
Would be Colossus. And, like,
Colossus.
yeah, I mean, back then, I mean, he was the big deal.
Right.
So that was my number one, your number two.
Okay.
So let me just go ahead and jump into my number two.
All right.
And then we'll let you...
Maybe this will be my number one. Let's see.
No, I doubt it.
Okay.
So my number two favorite cartoon growing up was G.I. Joe.
My number one.
That was your number
That
one.
was my number one.
This is how
intricate we are. Like, G.I. Joes were my life.
They were awesome.
They were my life. I mean, for $5.88, you could buy an action figure.
I know, it was so great.
I would save money out of the couches. Like, we talked about Ninja Turtles for DLG. Like, you could buy me a G.I. Joe. I have probably 300 of them, not even counting the ones that we lost at sea to the beach when we go to Galveston.
Every year we would go for a week, and our parents would get that timeshare, and we would go on the beach, and we would lose at least 6 G.I. Joes to the ocean. And then
it got to the point where, like,
I just want to see like a pile, like they're just like Candy Ocean. There's just a pile of G.I. Joes.
Well, it gets to a point where like a G.I. Joe would lose his arm. Well, we're gonna have to give him up to sea.
That's true. We would do burials and sea.
But the cool thing about those action figures was they were very bendable. They bent at the elbows, they bent at the shoulders, they bent at the knees
and the legs
everywhere.
That's why the Thundercats didn't live up to my expectations.
Exactly. But
this is why
the crazy thing, though, is I was born in 1984. DLG was born in 83. 5 months apart here. This cartoon came out in 85.
Right.
Is when it first started.
Right.
So us getting into it, we're watching reruns. I had VHS tapes that I would watch of these things. But I mean, these guys had everything. I mean, all your major characters were in here. Your Zartans, your Destros, Cobra Commanders, Tomax, Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Duke, Lady J, Flint. I mean, Roadblock, anybody you name it, they were in this.
And you know what's so funny? Like, now as you're older, you realize it was a cheap trick, but the coolest one was Snake Eyes because he didn't talk.
He didn't talk, and he was a ninja.
It was probably just to save money on one less voice actor, but it was such a cool thing for us that there was this silent super warrior.
And like the movies that they've come out with, even though they did pretty decent for the money they put into them.
Such awful movies, though.
I love them, and I will watch them over and over. I own both of them, and I will literally just watch them over and over again.
So famously, there's a story where Channing Tatum doesn't want to do G.I. Joes. He's contractually obligated because I think he did step up through the same studio.
Yeah,
and he owed them like 1 or 2 more movies, and so he doesn't want to do G.I. Joe at all. He's begging his agent to come up with a way to get him out of the deal. They're like, listen, we really can't. You owe them a movie. They want to make it this one. They're going to pay you the money in the deal. So really,
you got to do it.
You may as well do it. So he okay, fine. But from that, there's a role coming out of that he winds up getting because of it. And I want to say he's able to make Magic Mike because he did.
Probably so.
Like the money
or 21 Jump Street or something like that.
It was.
But here's the deal, though. Like so. He was in the first movie, and he goes to the second one, dies, or allegedly dies pretty quickly, and The Rock takes over.
Right.
And it does great. But now they're talking about doing a third movie, or even a possible G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, and he's still in talks to reprise his role at some point.
If they do Transformers, it would be fun to bring him back.
Oh, it would be
right?
awesome.
Because then you could just throw it all together.
It would be awesome. So, my favorite episode.
Okay.
And I had it on VHS. So, I mean, I've watched it probably like 35 million times. It was called Red Rocket Glare.
Oh,
remember that episode?
No.
So Roadblock, okay. We talked about this last week on the podcast. For some reason, I've always identified with African American characters in everything. X-Men, sports. I'm drawn to them. I don't know why. Maybe my real dad's African American. Who knows? But anyways, so Roadblock's this big, and it's the character. Roadblock is who The Rock plays.
Correct.
And so his aunt and uncle own the Red Rocket restaurant.
I remember.
And there's a rocket on top of the restaurant, right?
Yes.
And basically what it comes down to is the restaurant's owned by a corporation. There's actually like a nuclear missile in the rocket head. And so they're on this mountaintop and they have to save aunt and uncle's thing. At the end of the episode, they're all they make them food, oh, here's one of the Red Rocket dogs or something like that. I don't know why, but I always watch that episode and it's amazing. And G.I. Joe was probably 50% of my childhood growing up.
It really was.
I mean, I had action figures everywhere. My mom would always talk about how she'd come home from work and me and my grandpa would be there and there would be epic G.I. Joe battles stringing across 3 rooms of the house. Just awesome. Going everywhere.
Well, the thing of it was, too, the exciting part was while I had all the Ninja Turtles, you had all the G.I. Joes, and the G.I. Joes just had the better vehicles.
They did.
The helicopters and the jets and the tanks. So yeah, we really recreated some awesome battles with all the toys. We really did. We went all out.
These cartoons were a huge part.
In the trailer in Conroe, we would put them in the AC vent and then we'd string them along to the other vent.
Oh, dude, we did so many cool things with these G.I. Joes. These cartoons coupled with these action figures. And I know you're listening right now, irlonestar.com, and you're thinking, wow, I remember playing with those, or I remember watching that show.
That's right.
So, hey, feel free to drop us a line on the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/NerdThugRadio. Tell us about your favorite cartoon shows you watched growing up as a kid.
I'm going to give a shout out here
to
our new owner.
I guess so, yeah, Mr. Dick Schissler.
Dick Schissler. he mentioned one, and it was a fun one that I like to watch. Ronin Warriors.
I never watched that one, but you guys were like touching up on that.
Yeah, man. The armors represented the 5 elements. It was the first anime I ever saw, and it's an American style
like
anime. So it's
Asian
not
version
heavy.
of Captain Planet.
Sort of. Yeah. No. Essentially, yeah. These guys were kind of planeteers. Sort of. The armors involved the elements. That's where they drew their power, and they could even combine the armor powers together. So, like, the fire armor could steal power from the other ones to make an inferno armor. Like, it was fun.
Is that where Power Rangers came from? My suit and boot.
Possibly, because it predates it, and they're color-based. Actually, now that you say that, a lot of the weaponry and things. Yeah, probably somebody watched
Power
one,
Rangers
two.
is actually just a thieving show. Power Rangers actually originally comes from an old Japanese show, and they actually just take like the Ranger footage.
Right. And it's 2 shows, right?
Yeah, it's actually 2 shows. All of the English like actors that you see, like I don't know, Tommy or whatever, like that's all the American side. But when they get into like the suits and stuff, that is usually a Japanese show that they take and they use
Jason
the footage.
David Frank.
They would use that footage.
The Green Ranger, aka the White Ranger.
Yeah, they would use that footage and put it with their American actors, and that would be a different show for the U.S. audiences than it would be for Japanese.
I was never a fan of Power Rangers growing up.
You know, I wasn't until the Zords got a little bit cooler. The first set of Zords weren't cool.
No, they
The
weren't.
Thunder
cool.
ones?
Yeah.
Before we get into too much of how much I didn't like the Power Rangers, let's jump out here to a break, a little station identification.
Yeah.
Ho! IRLoneStar.com.
Nerd Thug Radio.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we're looking for more talk shows and volunteer DJs for our music shows. If you're interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or always wanted to live out your dream of being a music DJ, contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
Deep from the heart of Montgomery's own, here we are on Conroe's IR Lone Star, Nerd Thug Radio.
Talking nerdy. You did try something different.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit,
A
right?
little bit.
So Joey Savage here.
I'm the captain.
Corey DLG. Billy Batson's Hispanic cousin Nico.
One of the Shazam kids. One of the Shazam kids.
I saw Flashpoint Paradox.
For the first time?
Yeah.
Watch The
Wonder
Watchmen next. That's your
Wonder
homework.
Woman just straight murders children in that movie.
Listen. Nico, you've got homework.
I have a lot of them.
You have to watch The Watchmen this week.
Okay.
So that we can grill you about it.
Does
next
anyone
week.
have it on DVD?
I'm sure someone does. You can go to Walmart and probably buy it for like...
How do I not have that on DVD?
I'm sure you
thinking out loud right now.
I'm pretty sure I do, but I have a lot of DVDs in boxes and storage.
I don't think I own The Watchmen.
What is wrong with you?
Check my box that's at Dad's house. Check my DVDs in there. I might.
We're doing a little family talk.
Yeah. Oh, right. You guys are still here.
So
My
DLG, how do you feel about Nico having your box of DVDs? Nico, how does it make you feel?
It's been kind of normal.
Yeah,
Alright, so
that's pretty much satisfying.
So this week on the Facebook page, we try to get interactive. So I put a post up. Is there anything you want to hear the Savage and the DLG talk about? One of our best listeners of the show,
Shout him out.
Mr. Donald Williams. From Conroe, Texas now. He just migrated here because of the show.
There
He
you
said,
go.
hey, you guys are going to be in Conroe's FM radio? I'm moving to Conroe, Texas.
And he did.
So he did.
Packed up the wife,
Packed
put
up
her in a
the
box.
soon-to-be wife, put her in a box, and moved her to Conroe, Texas.
That's right.
All because we moved stations
It had air holes.
to
So.
irlonestar.com.
That's right.
All right, so he put a thing up on Facebook.
It was Donnie Utah.
Donnie
famously.
Utah. Donnie Utah is his stage name.
That's
his,
right.
Stripper name, if you would say.
Or his radio show.
Or his radio show name. Whatever you want to go with. So basically, he put a picture up, and it said, build a team of 6.
Right.
And I think it's kind of a play on the Avengers. Looks like from his picture here, it's the
Ultimates. Yeah.
So basically, DLG, he wants us to pick 1 leader, 1 size manipulator,
Okay.
2 powerhouses, 1 magic wielder, and 1 tech wielder, designer, interactor, however you want to say it.
Okay.
From that squad, you have to build your own team. You want to go first, or do you want me to start it off?
How do we do? Let's do this. Let's one piece at a time.
1 piece at a time, okay.
Okay.
So you want to start at the bottom and end with the leader, or you want to start with the leader and end with the bottom?
Ooh, let's start at the bottom.
We'll start at the bottom. So we'll start with our... okay. We'll go with the tech guy.
We're gonna go with our tech guy here.
So our guy who's in charge of tech.
tech.
You want me to go first? You want to go first?
You can go first.
So I kind of treated this as my new Uncanny Avengers squad.
Okay.
So if you read Uncanny Avengers, it's a mix mash of mutants and old Avengers, new Avengers. I don't have any Inhumans on my squad, but there are Inhumans on the squad as well. So it's basically
Who are the Inhumans?
there's the one that's the old Cap was running with Deadpool and Gambit and all this stuff.
Oh,
There was an Inhuman chick on there.
Okay.
So all right, so here we go. So my tech guy for my new Uncanny Avengers Volume 1, Forge.
Okay.
Previously
Okay.
of the X-Men.
All right.
That's pretty good.
Such a great character.
Yes. Yeah.
Big time. I mean, the dude can build just about anything out of anything.
Well, that is kind of his mutant power.
Exactly.
Is to build anything.
So whenever I was reading the Uncanny X-Force, which I've talked about a couple times on the show,
Mhm.
he was part of that squad. And there were some scenes where they were stuck in a junkyard trying to build like a plane to get out. He just put some stuff together. They ended up like finding some like huge whatever it was, and he built some machine to like take it on like out of nothing. So Forge to me is a great character. I mean, he's been a leader on his own.
He's built time machines.
He's built time machines. Dude can build anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I try to with this squad not go with your normal characters.
Okay.
And try to put a cast together of some guys who ain't been getting some love lately to build the new squad.
Okay. See,
So my tech guy is Forge.
I'm gonna go straight brutal here.
All right, I'm gonna write this down so we can
Okay.
keep this.
Okay.
Oh, you know what we should do?
What should we do?
HeroClix battle.
There it is.
Boom.
We'll build our two squads.
Yes, I like it.
And we'll
I
live
like it.
feed us taking on each other on the Facebook. We'll play it out.
Okay.
Sound
okay.
good?
It does sound good.
So if you guys like HeroClix, we haven't mentioned it once on this show. It's a tabletop game that we love. We'll get into it next week. We're going to live feed sometime next week after
Live stream.
Yeah, we're going to live stream sometime this week after the show airs. We'll put a post up there and you can see our teams battle it out. Your team go.
Okay, so my team is going to be kind of a brutal, wet works. Let's get in there and get meaty and greedy and just really
Meaty and greedy.
just take care of problems.
All right?
So that means my tech guy is Toyman,
Toyman.
the new one.
Oh,
The one from DC?
The new Toyman from DC.
So you mix mashing your...
I'm going to mix mash.
Mix mash Marvel and DC. So it's like a amalgam crossover almost?
The world's emerging. These six are going to fix it.
These six are going to fix it. Toy Masters. I'm not too familiar on the new Toy
The
Masters.
new toy one is actually a
Hit me with it.
14-year-old Asian boy.
No wonder you like him.
Yeah. But what happens is Bruce Wayne Enterprises finds out that this kid is just building some off-the-wall crazy tech. So he gives him basically an unlimited budget and he says, Batman needs toys. Go to work.
That's kind of
So
cool.
this guy just builds some crazy stuff.
So he's like a hero Toy Master, not the original villain type?
He's not a villain toy man. He's
And he's not actually building toys.
not building toys. And he doesn't consider himself a hero either. He just builds whatever he feels like and he's taking advantage of this limitless budget. So he also kind of schemes things and modifies things. He created the composite Superman Batman robot that they used in the Superman Batman story
Okay.
to stop the kryptonite meteorite.
That's pretty cool.
So, but he builds whatever he wants. He really doesn't affiliate hero or villain. He's just going to do whatever he wants, and it just so happens that Bruce Wayne is writing huge checks.
So our first two choices
I'm
are...
going to throw in here Warlock.
Okay, so
Maybe-
our first two choices... That's a good one. That's a good one. Our first two choices here, I go with a Native American,
Right?
and you're taking an Asian.
An Asian.
So we're getting some good mix already.
There we go.
Nico Warlock. We'll put Nico down here. Warlock from the New Mutants.
I like it. I like it.
Okay, so let's jump into the next one. You're going to go first this
I'm
time.
going to go first.
Your magic wielder.
My magic wielder. So we just did a magic-based team.
We did?
And I really enjoyed playing this character, but also I really feel like if we could create HeroClix out of nowhere, I would go back to my Ghost Rider guy that I was using.
Jason Blood?
But for the purpose of this, Jason Blood and Etrigan the Demon combo.
Okay.
Well, they're the same guy.
They are the same guy.
Which is neat because you took some guy who's basically like a villain-ish,
Right.
and you're going to put him on a squad.
Right.
Which is kind of the same thing I did because my magic guy here, I'm going with none other than Loki himself.
Nice.
So Loki kind of bounces back between...
Yeah, he shifts.
He shifts
I mean,
depending on...
you don't call him evil. He's neutral, but you never know his end goal.
You never know the end game with him.
Right.
And that's why I kind of want him on my squad, because he's such a fun character to read. He's such a fun character to throw in there with teams.
Yeah.
He's mischievous.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a side story or something that he's wheeling and dealing on the back end. And it just keeps some fresh newness to the team having Loki on the squad.
I like it. A runner-up for me would have been Shade.
Shade?
He's from my favorite comic book, Starman.
Your favorite comic book is Starman.
As far as how it was written.
How it was written?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not your favorite ever?
It's not my. You know what? I think it is one of my. It's my favorite ever as far as writing and art.
Okay.
Not necessarily characters and stuff. The story is a beautiful story. It tells the story of Jack Knight.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so let's move on to. We're gonna go 2 powerhouses here.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So do you want to name both?
No, you name one. I'll name one. We'll go back and forth.
Okay. So my first powerhouse here would have to be somebody. You got to go long range because so far my guys are kind of up close guys. So my first powerhouse would be Superman.
Superman. Okay, so you're gonna go with the obvious.
Taking the soups.
So you're gonna have Superman on your squad as a powerhouse, but not the leader.
Not the leader.
That's gonna be an interesting
He
take.
doesn't
on the show.
lead this team.
That's gonna be an interesting take, especially with
Aquaman's going to be his leader.
how him and Jason Blood interact with one another.
Yeah.
So besides just being a little different, like what else do you think Superman brings to the squad? Maybe a sense of some goodness, like a moral compass.
Probably a bit of a moral compass, which this team would desperately need. But more importantly than that, what he has is
Insane power.
insane power. The ability to kind of catch all, oh man, I forgot we've got a laser vision something, and also be invulnerable when we do it. And there's not a lot of guys who can
I need to pick up this entire planet and move it.
Right.
Whoops, my bad.
Famously,
guys.
when they switched colors with the Superman.
Is it like 8th time he said that today?
Famously? Listen,
9.
it's my word, and I'm going to own it.
Own it.
When he turned into Electric Blue, one of the coolest Justice League moments was when they magnetized the entire moon using Superman's electric abilities to keep it away from slamming into the Earth.
That's pretty cool. I dig it.
Held it.
He just sort of kept it away, yeah.
Genius.
I'm going to match your Superman
Okay.
with Hercules.
Nice.
The god Hercules.
Solid.
Demigod.
Demigod Hercules. He
No,
doesn't get much love anymore.
he doesn't. He really does not.
Throw him on this squad.
Original name Heracles, aka meaning gift from Hera. Even though Hera hated him.
Right, that's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Don't you think? We should ask Alanis Morissette.
A little too ironic.
Don't you think?
Yes, I really do think.
But Hercules. Throw him on the squad.
I like it. I like it.
He adds kind of the moral compass as well. As your Superman. He's super powerful.
Right.
And he's going to bring the hammer
I like
to
it.
the squad.
I like it.
All right, so your second power guy.
So my second powerhouse, going the exact opposite, but actually kind of similar to where you were there, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Okay. You got a hot chick in green. You're going to get... Well, you can't get China to play her if there was a movie.
Not anymore.
She-Hulk. Yeah, no, great character. I actually considered putting her on my squad myself, but I didn't.
I originally I thought Hulk, but then I was like, well, then the issue becomes how do you control Hulk?
Yeah, because She-Hulk can control...
Well, but now both your powerhouses are fighting each other, and the four of you are left.
Or it'd be like Thor and Hulk all the time.
Basically.
You're just doing a rerun, but with Superman.
See, and I'm over it.
So,
I went in a different direction. I put brains and power together.
brains and power together. And you've got a lawyer.
Yeah. Which will
Get
help.
you all your legal fees.
Yep.
Guys, you're
So all the stuff that Superman destroys,
That's right.
She-Hulk can then get them out of.
That's right.
All right, so my second powerhouse, Jessica Jones.
Okay.
So here's what I want to do. I want to give her powers back
Okay.
to where she is a superhero once again. So mixing this Jessica Jones powerhouse who kind of has a drinking problem and just likes to party and have a great time still and just
It's like a young Jessica
young
Jones.
Jessica Jones on the squad, and to see how she would interact with Hercules, who's got the moral compass, or even Loki, who's probably gonna be what do we call it, prodding her to to
Pushing
do evil,
buttons.
pushing her
Pushing
buttons
for
left and right.
Yes.
It would make for a great story.
It definitely would. That would be an interesting book to read.
I'm already excited thinking about it now. Hey, Marvel, you should listen to my lineup here.
Yeah, for real. Hit us up on Twitter, Marvel, and hire us to write some stuff.
I'm going to tweet our teams to Marvel. Your team won't work. I'll tweet my team. We'll tweak yours a little bit.
All right, yeah. We got some
I got my
things.
mysticism guy. I'm going to go Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Okay, all right.
So Nico, late to the party as usual.
T Strange.
Because he can't drive.
Right.
Speaking of strange, Taylor Swift and Calvin Harris broke up this week.
I'm sad. T Swift.
Now's your turn.
No. Listen, like I said, I'm a fan. I'm not trying to get all up on it. T Swift.
Powerhouse 1, Juggernaut.
Jugs. I'll just put Jugs.
Stay strong, T Swift.
Stay strong, girl.
I look forward to the new album.
Size manipulator.
Well, yeah, he's got one more powerhouse.
No, he's going to be in 10 minutes. He'll come up with this.
I was going to go Juggernaut Colossus.
Juggernaut Colossus.
Rivalry.
There you go.
Juggernaut Colossus.
Very
Who's going to wear the helmet?
Yeah. Oh, can they co-wear it?
No, there's only one champion of...
There could be only one. Zero-Tac. Zero-Tac.
That's in the X-Men cartoons. You should watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, I told you. I was far too young to watch the X-Men.
Well, now you've got homework.
So
you have to watch the X-Men cartoons. You also have to watch The Watchmen.
You have to watch all 100 and some odd episodes of the X-Men cartoon.
All
one
6
day.
seasons.
Oh,
All right,
I have
Corey,
to
you
put
ready?
myself in a time chamber and watch all of them
Okay,
at once.
size manipulator.
manipulator.
I feel like that kind of limits you on
It
who
does.
you can do.
Yeah, but you get some guys that can go like just huge, like can go like Goliath or
Same guy. Which one? The Black Goliath?
yeah,
That's Bill Foster.
Yeah.
Atlas.
I've got a good one.
I'm gonna go totally left wing here.
Right wing?
Crazy out there stature.
No, that was mine.
Was it?
High five there.
Nice.
Yeah, Cassandra Lang.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're both taking the same one.
So Cassie Lang, the reason I want to put her on this team is you think Superman's a moral compass. You got a 14-year-old girl who doesn't know right from wrong.
Exactly. So you put her on the squad with your toy master.
Right.
Romance happens.
Ooh, little teenage romance.
Yeah, I needed some youth on my squad, and I wanted to get someone who doesn't have like their own show or their comic book or
Right.
I mean, she did the Young Avengers thing for a while, and she's been around for a while, but to get her on her own like fully loaded like legit team.
Right.
And what the great part about her is when she gets angry, she gets really big. And when she starts feeling guilty, she starts getting really
shrinking
small.
again.
So how she interacts with that and how that helps the team out
Right.
will be great. So she's could almost be like our Hulk character. Like you
Sort
gotta
of.
get her angry so she can get big and go
And then,
crazy.
and then you got to get her focused and guilty to get her to shrink.
Yeah, exactly.
Be
So
like, look, you destroyed all these buildings.
I
And you're
can't
like,
believe you just killed all those people.
it's gonna be hard though to play this in HeroClix since neither one of us own a stature because I don't think there is one.
Yeah, there is.
The
Is
new
there?
Captain America one, not Captain America. Civil War is coming out with
Oh,
one.
so we'll have to wait.
Well, Civil War is coming out one, but also there already was one. You own one.
Was it Secret Invasion?
Yeah.
God, that's old.
That is an old set. She probably has like a 9 attack top.
We'll omit her from the squad maybe.
We'll
All right,
figure something out there.
ready to get into the leaders?
I am.
Oh wait, you didn't get mine. Mine was Atomica.
Atomica. You would. Way to ruin the Marvel thing.
Yeah,
Nico.
you went totally different there.
Jeez,
Okay.
why don't you just go with Ant-Man, Hank Pym? I thought about going Wasp at one point.
I wanted,
Yeah.
See, I wanted
And
to use Hank Pym as my tech dude. I was like, nah, I gotta go Warlock.
The more I researched, I was like, man, Cassandra Lang would be awesome.
She would be fun. She'd be a lot of fun with it.
There's so much stuff you can do with her because they haven't done a whole lot with her.
Although I do think, and I'm not sure about this, I think currently she's dead in the Marvel comics.
Change.
No, she came back. So,
Oh, did she?
in the I guess it was the Onslaught storyline, and Doctor Doom got powers and became like good for a while. One of the things he wanted to do in order to like atone for all his bad things is he brought her back.
Nice.
He brought her back to life. So
Thanks, Dr. Doom.
thank you, Doom.
So this brings us to
the leader,
our team
of the
leaders.
squad. Go first.
I'm going to go first here?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go Sister Superior, Justice League Elite.
Sister Superior.
Of course you.
You're gonna have
Yeah.
it. So you're voting for Hillary, obviously. A chick running your squad.
She's awesome. If you've ever read JL Elite,
Do you think
she leads an undercover team that essentially kind of is what I was
Superman
talking about.
listen to her?
Superman trusts her with the fate of the planet.
Does he?
He does.
But would he go in a team under her? Let her call the shots, and he'd just be like, "All right, okay, you want me to blaze that? Sure, why not?"
There might be a good source of conflict in a book right there.
There could be a good point. That's why we're both writers.
There you go.
Aspiring.
Aspire, yeah. Can just declare ourselves these things.
Well, my Twitter handle says I'm an aspiring writer
Yeah,
and rapper,
and I am
and
a
I eat
published
chili dogs.
author.
Yeah,
Both of
we
you
talked
are.
about. Yeah, we talked about this.
That's
couple weeks
right. Your
ago.
book of
My
poetry.
book
I
of
forgot.
poetry. To
Already
me or not
figured-
to me. It wasn't that, but
We gotta find the links for this stuff and put it on the
we
page.
got. to
Where's
do it.
your official? Because you said you have a printed copy.
I do,
want
but this
that.
one I was like 16, and now I'm.
So
There's-
That was 16 years ago. I'm sure
It's
my
at a
mom-
Goodwill in
I
Dallas.
bet my mom probably has it somewhere, locked up in a box or something.
Hey,
I
remember
bet
that
she
one
does.
time you posted a book? Here you
Remember that
go.
one time you posted that book and all those poems in it? Here you go. All right, you ready for my leader?
Okay.
Silver Samurai.
Pretty obvious. Pretty obvious who it's going to be. Cable.
Yeah.
The leader
you would.
of my
You
Uncanny
would.
Avengers. But think about it. I mean, he's led the X-Force. He's led the New Mutants. Him and Forge already have like a friendship going on so they can work well
I
together.
kind of feel like
He can time travel. I mean, he's got telekinesis. He's telekinetic. There's so many things he can do.
Okay, here's what I would do in your story.
Yes, go ahead.
Very first story, they fail. And so the reason Cable becomes the leader is he's not on the team. They go to do their mission. They fail. They're literally like on a spaceship. It's going the wrong direction. Earth blows up, and they're like, we
Screwed everything up.
everything
Maybe
up.
not blowing up Earth. Maybe blowing up Earth. With
Yeah.
time travel.
And then
It's-
Cable...
What if it's not time travel? It's just different dimensions. So like Rick and Morty when they come in, they're like, "We already blew up our Earth."
One of the cool things about Cable is he's constantly time traveling, trying to prevent stuff from the future.
Exactly.
Time sliding.
Yeah, he's time sliding like
So he
crazy.
body slides into the escaping craft.
Which is what he usually does. He just
Right.
shows up in places.
shows up, and he's like, what did you guys do?
So like in the new Uncanny Avengers, or not new, but the new story that had to come out right before they went to the Pleasant Hill stuff. Cap and them, they're taking on this Inhuman who can turn the world into like basically vegetation. And,
All right, that's a little random.
Cable just shows up and is like, I know what you did wrong. Let me help you fix it.
Okay.
It's just awesome.
All right.
Cable's just jumping in and out everywhere.
But yeah, so I definitely think your team fails in its first mission. Cable shows up. They get
The team fails with Forge as the leader.
Right.
He's like, man, I know how to fix this. And
Right.
he calls Cable.
No, someone definitely gonna put Stature as the leader. They're like, why did you put the 14-year-old girl as the leader of this team?
Yeah, definitely gonna be Forge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely gonna be Forge.
Definitely.
Or your team could kind of just be the 5 people who made it onto the craft in time. To
Maybe
get
so.
away.
Yeah, maybe so. That could be it as well. I think there's a lot of potential here.
Yeah, definitely.
Potential.
So you blow up your the first 5 pages of your book, and Cable shows up and he's like,
What did y'all do?
"We've got to go back.
Who
and fix
who
this."
pushed the red button?
Right.
So then the whole story arc is them going back through time, trying to figure out what events led
Exactly.
up to it and how to stop it.
Exactly. And
God,
you
this
never
sounds
even know as the
amazing.
reader, you don't even know. You're
As
like,
the writer, I don't even know. I'm just gonna
but
keep
you just
going.
keep going, doing
This
this.
sounds awesome.
You fight 1960s Doctor Doom.
Yeah. So Marvel, get ready because I'm
You go,
I'm about
way
to
too
tweet
far
this
back.
to you right now.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I think
yeah.
we should pitch it.
I'm
I
gonna
think it
pitch
would
it.
work.
I'm gonna tweet it to him. I'm gonna pitch it.
Jessica Jones is drunk. Oh, great. Now my favorite bar is gone.
What am I gonna do? Come here, Cable. Let's make out. Hercules, how big of a man are you?
Yeah.
Heracles.
Hercules,
Tame this lion.
tame this line right now.
But so definitely, I like that lineup. It's a lot of fun. Nico, who's going to be your leader here?
Yeah, who's your leader, bro?
I'm really mulling this over. I really don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Gambit. Gambit is the leader because I've heard a lot of Gambit, and he's just been kind of an X-Men that's he's kind of done things that other X-Men wouldn't do. He's
Okay.
kind of a leader that would make decisions that other X-Men wouldn't want to do.
I think he just makes decisions on what he can steal, basically.
Your book is a caper book.
Yes.
Like seriously, your book is. So the reason your team even exists is because someone has tasked Gambit with stealing a mystical artifact from the intergalactic bank. Shi'ar, yes. So there's a Shi'ar witch doctor who's about to open the Vault of 1,000 Years of Sleep that only opens once every millennia.
And he's going to steal all of
And
it.
Gambit needs to build a crew to get that item.
This is a great team.
That's your squad.
That's your squad.
You just replace Atomica with Wasp or
I think Wasp or
Hank Pym,
Hank Pym.
Scott Lang.
yeah.
Scott
somebody-
Lang would be cool.
Or
Somebody-
stature.
Yeah, or
What?
Or
Statue.
Stature.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed? 3 Statures all on the same team.
This is awesome. Yeah, so I really like the idea. Donald, thanks for posting that. It gave us some good stuff to think about.
Absolutely.
I spent a full week trying to decide. Actually, no, I spent a couple of days. Well, as soon as he posted, I was like, man, this is great. We're going to have to talk about this
we totally
on the show.
Totally did.
And we're always down for that. So if you guys have anything you want to hear the Savage and the DLG talk about,
Right.
hit us up on Facebook. We'll try to
Absolutely.
get to whatever we can. It might not be that week, but we'll definitely roll it into the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was a lot of fun. In the picture, it's the Ultimates,
Yeah.
and that's the moment where they assemble to fight. They're fighting against basically the United Nations. The Security Council assembled a anti-Ultimate squad, being tricked by Loki, not knowing it. And these are the guys who come. It's the Ultimates, and it's Great Britain's Excalibur team coming together to save the day.
Yeah,
They're not
it
part
was
of
good stuff.
Excalibur.
No, this was the Ultimate version of Excalibur, so it's Brian Braddock's superheroes. Captain Britain's father was a great geneticist, doctor himself, and so in the Ultimate Universe, he makes his own superheroes, and that's why Captain Britain and Psylocke are superheroes. The Ultimates are very much about genetically modified characters are going to be the new weapons of mass destruction. So famously, Mark Millar, who wrote the Ultimates in the Ultimate Universe, one of his arcs is called Humans of Mass Destruction.
Okay.
So the idea is that
Literally humans of
Right.
mass.
So the idea is that people are the next nuclear weapons.
That makes sense, especially when you have people who are nukes.
Exactly. This
Shout
was
out
a lot of fun.
shout out to
I look
Nitro.
forward to doing that, to doing this click battle here, because that would be pretty epic.
I feel like my team would be 1,000,000 points, though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the points right now. It's gonna be complicated. We can get it figured out though.
We'll
Actually, I
figure it
think
out.
our
We're
teams
smart
are actually
guys.
pretty comparable.
We're smart guys.
I'm
we
not
can,
here.
Wise.
we can figure it out.
Yeah, we're not done.
We're smart fellers.
We one time did something smart.
One time, that's what started this show.
This was the
This
time.
was, yeah,
This
no,
was,
we
this
come
was
up
a
with some
smart
pretty
show.
good ideas.
We do.
Spogomics was always a good idea. That was
Yeah.
fun.
We just was in the wrong venue at the wrong time,
Yeah.
but we had a lot of great stuff going on.
We did.
Played a many hero clicks in that store.
We did play mini hero clicks.
Remember that? What was that one kid that would always come in? His
Oh.
mom owned a booth down the way. And he always wanted to buy the Kick-Ass comics, and we wouldn't sell them to him because he was 13.
He was nice, but you know who I always think about when I think about that store was the kid who came in and who won the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament in Houston. he came in third in like a regional, massive Yu-Gi-Oh! Regional event, and he was like 10. So him and his mom won a trip to Japan.
Oh, wow.
To go play when the next level tournament started.
Yeah.
So he showed up at my shop, and we were teaching him Hero Clicks. Really nice kid. I'm trying to remember his name, and I actually probably wouldn't even say his name if I recall it because
he's 10.
He was 10. So I'm not going to put his name out on the podcast there.
Agent X.
We'll call him Agent X. Really nice. It was an Indian family. They were really nice there. And he came in with all this money. And at first I thought he stole it because, I mean, it was a ton. He literally had like $1,000 in cash on him at the store. And he bought my entire catalog of clicks at the time. I had just gotten in an entire brick of X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men. So I had had the 8 boosters with the super team base. Yeah. And he walks in, he goes, how much for all of it? I'm literally stocking the store in the morning. He's like, how much for all of it? And I was like, what?
You want it all now? Okay, let's make a deal.
I was like, well, it's going to be kind of expensive, man, because typically you came in and bought $5 or $10 at a time. Just pulls out this wad of money. And I was
Look what I got, bro. Yeah. Give me what I want.
I was like, where did you get that? And I really was going to go tell his brothers had the cell phone store down the way. I was really going to be like, hey,
you know your little brother's got like 12 grand on him right now?
He's walking around with $1,000.
In a flea market? This is not good business.
But what had happened was he'd actually, like I said, he won the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament there locally and was qualified now for the trip to Japan to play it there.
That's so awesome. I wish I was that good at anything.
At anything. And here he was at 10 years old. And he actually, when he was learning the Hero Clicks, he was picking it up pretty quick.
He could probably beat Nico. He's just a young prodigy.
Yeah, he totally could have beat Nico. No problem.
Oh, yeah, I'm trash.
All right. So this kind of winds us down here. We got a few minutes left, but there's always some business you want to take care of on your way out the door when you're doing a show like this.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to say irlonestar.com. We're happy to be part of the station.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us in.
Lone Star Community Radio. This was our first show. Thank you to everyone who's out there listening. Like we said plenty of times, we are Nerd Thug Radio. You can find us at facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio. Twitter is at Nerd Thug Radio. DLG, you're on the Twitter as?
Corey DLG.
I am also on Twitter. I don't get on much, but I am Joey_Slapshot. A little different stuff going on there.
Different there.
And I have the unofficial Nerd Thug Radio Instagram page at joey.savage15. I'm pretty active on the social media. Also, this week, DLG, we're going to be out at Space Cadets in Oak Ridge, starting off the Hero Clicks Marvel OP event, Civil War.
Yep.
So if you want to come interact with me and the DLG, check out Space Cadets at 3 o'clock this Saturday.
Also tonight, this show airs Monday, 1 to 3 p.m. Tonight, I will be at Exit 73 hosting the Madden tournament.
So, when this show's over with, you guys want to come meet the DLG, he'll be at Exit 73 in the Woodlands.
It's going to be a $10 entry fee. You come on in, say hi to me, we hang out, I host a Madden tournament there. This is the first week of it.
So, good luck to you on that.
Yes, we're all very excited.
It's going to be pretty exciting. So, hey guys, thanks for listening. Signing off, this is the Captain, Joey Savage.
And Corey DLG, and as always, our executive producer, Clark Nico Kent. We out. Nerd Thug Radio, talking nerdy to you.
Talking nerdy.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.